evening, everybody, and welcome back to the True Gamer Podcast, a podcast hosted by two gamers for you, the True Gamers. I'm one of your hosts, Eddie, along with my bro, the inverted gamer himself, Sheps. How you doing today?
I was trying to figure out how to make myself inverted. Just flip me in the screen. Yeah, I'm good. Whoa!
for the whole stream, you're just upside. Oh no!
What was the question? I'm good. How are you?
This is a great start. This
Oh
is gonna be fantastic.
no!
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I'm here to talk gaming
You
with
are
you.
here, yeah. You can usually be found here at home.
on a Thursday in the recording studio. Usually I'm here to, guess what? This week, also here. That's what I like. No, but I'm doing great. It's been a couple of cool things coming together. We've got The Last of Us Part 1 coming up. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. We've got some new footage from God of War. It's only like 4 seconds more.
It's not a lot, yeah.
But enough to make me come.
Of course.
Just straight away, I was like, well, that's it.
And enough to get us demonetized within it.
Oh, no. Damn it. We'll have to add, because it's the first 30 seconds.
Talking of being demonetized, thank you guys over patreon.com/Conbrosations. I mean, this whole thing.
You're fucking.
We actually need your help because we are completely incapable of staying within TOS on here and on Twitch.
Excuse me, Hauschwitz.
That was solidly an hour in. Easily an hour in.
When we asked for short clips, which by the way, if you want to help us out, you can cut parts of these videos or send us timestamps of funny parts you really like and we can turn them into short videos to really help us out, and we're hopefully going to try and climb the algorithm and whatnot. We asked for them. The first one was Hauschwitz that got sent to us, and I was like, of course it was. Of course it was, and I think it was Sean, I think.
The funny thing is obviously I don't want just to talk quick YouTube stuff, I don't want our shorts, because we're going to start putting up shorts to try and help us grow. YouTube seems to be really pushing them. I don't want our shorts. I want our shorts to be just funny clips.
Yeah.
But it seems that it's always all the edgy jokes that hit it. Like I picked a clip for us to go up from Life of Pi.
Life of Pi. That's
Lies
the name.
of P.
Yeah.
I found an image of it that looked very weird. And now our first two shorts are going to be Hauschwitz and whatever that was.
Joke.
The Arab joke. Like, I don't know how our brand shifted this way.
Yeah, I don't know how we got into this. We're like, bro, I love games. Do you love games? Yeah, I love games. Let's talk about games.
Tyler said something about cancelling you.
Yeah.
Because you said you'd made some joke. And I nearly said on Twitter, did you see the group chat?
No.
Well, the group chat, I was like, oh, I nearly replied to you. I'd said you on the group chat. On the group chat, I was like, doesn't work on Ed because he's a Muslim and an ethnic.
Exactly.
Was the joke I was going to make. But obviously you make it on Twitter without like the fact that we're actually best friends and neither one of us is actually white and, you know, all that stuff. And like, they just see two white guys talking about calling this Muslim guy an ethnic.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's definitely getting you cancelled.
Definitely would get you cancelled.
Especially when you have the Hauschwitz joke and then the Arab thing. Like, we need to get away from this.
Yeah, let's
we
sprinkle
need to get
it.
to just like family friendly.
Sprinkle in some family friendly stuff every now and again.
What we should do is we should just review every episode or however it's done of Cocomelon. Cocomelon!
Nothing
We'll just be
can never possibly get the...
That's how we'll do it. We'll switch our brand to family friendly.
I'd kill myself.
I'd kill you. I'd kill myself and then you.
Afterwards.
Yeah,
it's like,
you've heard of a murder-suicide.
You're going to angle yourself so that when you die, you fall with the knife directly
I'll
on me.
Sudoku myself.
Sudoku.
And fall backwards. And we just did the unaliving yourself thing.
Yes.
So how have you been, bro? Things are looking up. Gaming?
Everything's looking up, really. My back problems have gone away.
That's good.
For the moment, anyway. Looking good. But I've been going to the gym more. I've just finished like my 4th consecutive week, so feeling good about myself. Maybe the gym has been helping, maybe it hasn't, who knows. But more exercise, definitely better. I got my car back. After that little accident I had. Been fucking like 4 weeks without it. They did ask for £1,600 from me, which is something.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of money. Other than that, though, been doing good. Got back into Destiny, like I said last week, and it's fully sucked me back in, guys. It's fully sucked me back in. I'm back on the Destiny hype train, guys. Back on it.
Destiny sucked you in.
Destiny sucked me. Oh, that's the title of the video. Destiny sucked me. Destiny's got hold of me.
Yes. So we're never getting any money from this thing.
How about you? What you been up to, man? How's life?
Yeah. All right. Not sleeping as per usual.
Good to hear. Good to hear. If
Keep,
something had changed in that department, I'd be scared.
right. It would be like probably the first of this next lot of like apocalypse things. It's like the first domino along the line. The unsleeping one rests. So not done a huge amount of gaming. I keep meaning to like finish Stray, and I'm not far. It's not a long game.
It's not a long game, yeah.
But it's just sitting down to do it when I'm sitting down to game, and I'm like, man, I think I'd just rather play Apex or Horizon or something like that, something meaty. So it's weird because if I only have an hour, why not just chill out with the cat?
Yeah, that's an odd
one
there.
I have a problem with that. I still haven't finished Plague Tale either, and that again, not a seriously long game.
I haven't finished that as well, and I keep thinking about the next one coming out.
Yeah,
in
Requiem's
October,
out soon.
So
yeah.
I'm like, I need to get that done, otherwise, yeah.
Amicia. Come on, no go.
Do you want that guy to come back to you again in the correcting Conbrosations? That was a fucking rinse, man. That was unexpected drive-by. It's like, bro, your name's Sheps. It's like, damn.
Wow. You know that Kevin Hart gift? Damn.
Yeah.
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 Speaking of people who hate us,
Yeah.
our super bros over at patreon.com/Conbrosations who keep this show going, who keep everything going here at the Conbrosations. You guys are legends. Thank you very much for your support. We appreciate you guys so much. Those people are Diogo Dildo. I've got the order back again. Oh, no, it's not. It's a bad one. Diogo Dildo, Jeremy Renner, that's right, an official Avenger. Isak, the Ultimate Cumsock, Sabine from Smallville, the Star Wars Encyclopedia, Adam Sunling, Catsper, the Friendly Patron, Mikey T, the Gamer Giant, Super Sus Ben Fryer, the Filthy Thief Fanatic, Joe McCormack Clark, the 53rd, My Juicy Left Nut, the Super Sexy Producer Sean, and Gams Master, the Leader of the Empire, the Fearless One, the Great Lord Vader himself, step cousin, who isn't really related to anyone of importance, but he just likes to be involved. So there you go.
Thank you, boys.
Thank you guys so much for
And girl.
supporting us over at Patreon. Thank you so much. And if anyone else wants to, feel free to head over there. You get exclusive access to all kinds of stuff. At Super Hero level, you get everything. You get your name read out. You get this podcast the day it comes out on podcast feeds.
You don't have to wait like a peasant. You get the Findom stuff.
Exactly.
We treat you horrendously.
That's the way it works. You get all that stuff. Thank you very much for your
and
support.
access to the Conbrosations podcast, our unfiltered, I don't have another unword.
Word.
We'll talk about anything. And bearing in mind, we made a Auschwitz joke on this podcast and rated genocides. That's how unfiltered the Conbrosations podcast. We did that on this one, didn't we?
I think it might have been the other one, but that's how bad it got on the other one.
Yeah, so we'll talk about anything.
And we're recording one today, so you'll get that as well coming out this week as well. Bit of housekeeping. The merch is finally been posted.
Yeah.
It's actually out there in the thing. Do you know what?
You like my tweet?
I hate you. I've said many times before. I hate Royal Mail.
Yeah.
Royal Mail suck so much. Apparently, there's a strike going on. Apparently, this thing's going to be delayed another couple of days from when I posted it.
Royal Mail make DPD look reliable.
Right? And the thing is, and I go to them, I'm like, okay, so no problem. So if I pay next day delivery on this stuff, do I have to pay the 3-day service instead because it's going to take 3 days? The guy's like, no, it's not how it works.
Yeah, no, you still pay. It's not getting there on time. You're not getting what you paid for. No. But unless you pay for it, it's never getting there.
Exactly. Anyway, that went out, and I think because of Brexit, I had to fill out customs forms for all the people that are in like other countries, and we had about 18, or like 10 of them or something like that. And I'm just like, fuck it. When will it end?
I hate Royal Mail.
I hate everything.
How about this? Because of Brexit, what if we rejoin, but we shut down Royal Mail? That's the trade, innit?
There we go. We'll offer that to the EU. It's like, okay, we'll rejoin, but we'll close Royal Mail.
Innit? We get to not deal with any of this stupid bullshit. And you get Royal Mail shut down. Well, we don't have the Royal Mail here in Germany, but we have heard it's really bad, so we'll accept.
We just don't want it ever to come anywhere near us, so
Right,
we'll
right,
accept.
right.
We'll accept. Yeah, so that's coming, guys. Check your mail and stuff like that. You guys should be getting that soon. Next bit of housekeeping, EGX is coming up, boys. The 23rd and the 24th of September, we will be at EGX London, which is being held in the XL London Centre. If you guys want to come down and meet us, we'll be there on those 2 days, playing games, talking games, enjoying ourselves, having some fun, and you get to meet us as well, and you get to shake our hands and see how Short Sheps really is in real life.
I don't know why you'd want to touch Ed, or...
Just saying, you know where it's been. You know where it's been. And after that, we're going to be doing some things as well. On the 23rd, we're going to go out for a nice meal, have some food, stuff like that. And on the 24th, we're going to go out to a gaming bar. I've got 2 potential gaming bars in my mind, and I really need your help, guys, to figure this shit out. One of them is a cool retro arcade. It has things like Time Crisis, it has Crazy Taxi, it has some old Star Wars, like pod racer games, things like that. Really cool stuff.
Sweet.
Doesn't have food at the place. Doesn't have anywhere to sit. It's just a bar and the arcade.
Well, I mean, you got alcohol and gaming.
It's pretty cool, right?
Not
It's
bad.
pretty awesome. The other option is that we go to a place where essentially it's a booth that you get, and you get it for like 90 minutes to 2 hours, something like that you can pay for. And you have a TV screen with a bunch of consoles already hooked up and already installed with some controllers. And then you can get food delivered to your table and you can all chat and play games like that.
Both sound pretty decent, to be honest.
That's the thing. The only thing that's pulling me away from the booth one
Yeah.
is the fact that it's not retro games like Time Crisis, like the light guns and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's cool stuff like Mario Kart, Mario Party, and all these other like Brawlhalla, Multiverses.
Half
all
these guys don't know about Time Crisis.
That's the thing, and I think they would like it. But then we sacrifice being able to sit down and getting food at the table or something like that.
Yeah. But then if you drink enough...
You don't need food.
Exactly.
It's a catch-22. I think we're gonna have fun regardless of both of them.
Yeah, of course. Also, how many people fit in a booth? Because the thing is, if only 4 people want to come and like hang out, have a meal or something, then a booth will work. But if it's like last time, it was like 10 of us.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't work.
Let me. What I'll do then is I'll post a little. Hey, you guys come into EGX, send me your names and we'll get a rough gauge of how many people are, and then we'll see what the potential options are. If we can get a booth big enough, I'm leaning towards that one just a bit.
Yeah, because we can get like food. And
being able to chill and sit
and like
down.
You and me don't need to play games. We can just like laugh at people holding the N64 controller wrong.
Exactly, stuff like that. But I do like the idea of going to the arcade and just playing Time Crisis. And playing
How
Crazy
far away
Taxi.
are they from each other?
They're both about half an hour from the convention centre. So
Okay, but are they half an hour in different directions?
No, they're actually both really close to each other.
Okay. So we could do both.
We could.
Okay.
It's an option there. It's an option. Anyway, that's going to be happening on the Saturday, the 24th of May. So if you guys are planning to come down, if you guys want to come down, you want to see us while you enjoy some games,
Yeah,
feel free
that's
to
it.
join
And
us.
now, 20 minutes in, let's get into the show.
Let's get into the show.
What is our first topic?
Let me tell you what today's topics will include, sir. Today's topics will include The Last of Us Part 1's reviews are up. Will it get the same score for essentially the same game? Doubt it. More news from PlayStation games being turned into movies, including Days Gone. And the next PlayStation showcase, you like all the acting I do. And the next PlayStation showcase announcement is imminent, according to rumors. But what would make it the perfect PlayStation showcase?
Yeah.
Today we're going to put that showcase together, and that's going to be our first topic.
Okay.
So, while we go through our things, if we mention any games that guys have mentioned in our Discord server, which you guys can write in to join in and talk to us and stuff like that, I'll bring them up. And in our
We've
on
got
our
too many
Patreon.
rooms.
But what is the first thing? What is the one game? What is your first game that you would like to see? What is it you think would make the show go from like, regular state of play, regular show to, oh my god, this is why we love PlayStation?
I was going to ask you. I'm curious to hear. do you
So
first?
there's too many to start off with. But
Don't
honestly,
say Killzone
No.
or any of that.
Guys, they're gonna bring back
Things
Resistance.
that
Resistance
are
is back.
actually gonna happen.
So here's the thing. This would be. I'm looking for mic drop moments, right?
Right.
I'm not gonna go for the obvious one straight away. Death Stranding 2. I think if they come out and they say Death Stranding 2 is happening, and they show us more game, they show us gameplay of it.
Yeah.
I'm like, look, this is what it looks like. This is what's happening. This is the idea. Obviously, we're not going to understand anything because it's Hideo Kojima. Even though we've played the first game and we know the world and we know all the mechanics, we still won't understand what the second trailer means.
Of course, not at all. Not close.
But I think if they come out with banging with the Death Stranding 2, especially because like all the recent rumors are like, oh, Hideo Kojima's now working for Xbox. It's like he's an Xbox guy now. He's no longer with PlayStation. That's what he's doing. There's like.
Yeah, he's done 2 awkward appearances where nothing was said.
And we don't know what the hell's going on with him. Like, we've heard the rumors as well.
That's very on brand for Hideo Kojima, though.
It's true. Very true. Very true. Now, I've got nothing against him working for Xbox. It's totally fine. He could do whatever he wants. It's cool. I would like to, as a Death Stranding fan, I would like to see more from Death Stranding. It'll be hilarious, as I said, if it's another trailer that we just don't understand.
Yeah.
Because the first one was we had so many questions. We had so many questions.
Yeah, we did.
But it was because it was brand new. And if he can manage to pull it off again, I will be rolling on the floor laughing on stream when we watch it.
Yeah.
So that's my first pick there. I know you're not a big Death Stranding fan.
Correct.
Because you're a fake Sony pony.
It's true.
Yeah, you're not really a Sony
That's
pony.
right.
You're in disguise. Ah! But what do you think? If you saw Death Stranding 2, could that be something that gets your motor going?
I think it would be big, but it's not for me. But it would be big, just because I don't think it's just. I think everything involved is trash.
Obviously.
And Hideo Kojima is basically Hassan Kuraman 2.0 or 1.0.
So hold on a sec. Hassan Kuraman was actually Hideo Kojima, but
Yes, exactly.
Hideo Kojima was actually Hassan Kuraman. Oh, here we go. It's a hack. It's a hack circle.
So yeah, I think that would be pretty big. It's interesting that you picked that because big game that is somehow quite niche, right? Like it's a big name, like everybody is aware of it, but it's had a very niche audience. My big thing, which isn't a new game, was going to be, I strongly suspect we would get the announcement of a Horizon Zero Dawn and God of War 2018 remaster.
Ooh, okay. So like a PS5 version of them.
Right. And then they can do the whole, you've seen how we've charged you more money for the exact same game with The Last of Us Part 1, which actually I sent you a tweet about that, which we'll get to when we get to Last of Us Part 1. Yeah. But when people say, it's the same game, the old one looks better, just look at this exact snapshot. Because no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Man, my nose is running like it's got a marathon going. I don't know what's going on. But I do think we're sort of primed for those remasters. Remasters. Because Horizon Zero Dawn, 2017, so 6 years old-ish. By next year, it'll be 6 years old. Pretty looking game at the time compared to Forbidden West, dated, you know? And it's still a decent game. Yeah. God of War 2018.
Someone clip that for the record. He says Horizon Zero Dawn is a great game.
Every time I've spoken about Horizon, I've been very clear to distinguish between the game and the story. Like, as a game, it's fun to play. As a storytelling device, it's awful.
Sorry to throw you off of this thing for a second, but you know we sent our merch off.
Yeah.
Sabine asked for you to write something nice about Aloy, and I read it again, and I'm rolling on the floor laughing. It was like, Aloy is the main protagonist in 2 games. That's 2 more than me, so...
Well done, Aloy.
There's that.
Fucking dead.
Fucking dead. Spoiler, Sabine.
Also, why Sabine? Why? But I do think that, like, remastering God of War 2018 for, like, PS5, so you get the haptic and everything, would bang. I'd like that update. And Horizon Zero Dawn is primed for it, because it's another good... looking game with a lot of, I mean, bruv, think about the haptics on the bow or whatever, you know? But
You feel the tension on the bow and the haptic triggers.
Whatever. But I don't know. It just feels like those two would be good games to come out, even though I know we're really talking about what should lead the next sort of wave. And I kind of think it should be the old guard.
Do you know, I'm going to come out and I'm going to say something. Normally we're the same person on this. I'm actually going to come out in disagreement. I feel like those games are good enough to stay where they are. I know... I like
The Last of Us was.
Well, that's the thing. Last of Us is a bit more. Even the PS4 Pro version was pretty dated looking and whatnot. But I'm always up for the best looking version of it, especially when it's something so great and so iconic. Like The Last of Us being remastered, people are saying like, "Oh, unnecessary." I'm like,
Needed.
it's a historical piece of gaming. It's like one of these things that went, oh shit, we can tell these incredible stories in gaming form. We've done it before, but never to this scale, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And just for that reason, I feel like we should have a more updated version of it. I feel like that's a good reason to have it. But everyone has their own reasons for it. That's fine. And same thing with God of War 2018, my favorite game ever. So I would like a PS5 version of it done in like the best graphics ever. But maybe that might wait until the next generation. Maybe.
Because I'm just thinking, talking of God of War, right?
Yeah.
No, not God of War. The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Last of Us 2 came out, 2 years ago? And now we're getting Last of Us 1 remake on top of it, looking basically at that same level of graphical fidelity. God of War.
Better, in fact, I think.
Well, yeah, it looks incredible. God of War Ragnarok releases, and then we get 2018, the game that sort of sparked the new wave of it. Do you know what I mean?
Good point. Especially because they're bringing out they're going to do a TV show as well.
Yeah.
See, this is the thing. Some of these might be business decisions. They might go, look, people want to play the 2018 version.
Yeah.
They might play the whole God of War story.
Yeah.
Maybe it might be worth us porting it to PS5 and upraising as much as we can, doing whatever touches we can to make it the definitive version. So when they see it, it's the best thing ever, and it's not that 2018 version. But the 2018 version isn't bad. That's the thing.
No, it's not bad. I just think they might go. People want to play this. Like, how long have I been asking for the haptic update? I'm not playing 2018 until I get haptics because I want to experience it at its full capacity, right?
Yeah.
What's a better way to do that? Just repackage the game to me, and I'm an idiot. I'll buy it.
Yeah.
And so will other people.
Yeah. That's the thing. A lot of people who have the feelings they have for The Last of Us, they're forgetting that there are people that will spend money on things that they really love.
Mm-hmm.
It's not for everyone. Everyone doesn't have even the ability to do that, which is a sad thing. I want everyone to be able to experience this kind of stuff. But if people love it enough, they'll pay for it. And it simply existing shouldn't offend people as much as it seems to at the moment. I don't understand why that is. I don't understand why just the existence offends people so much.
People just...
Especially when it's something you don't have to interact with. You really don't.
People have just been trained to get upset about things these days. That's all it is.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit.
What's your next?
My next one.
Yeah. Yeah, we're waiting.
I'm not going to steal your thing, because I think I know what your thing is.
Well, of course. I was going to say... I was expecting you to come out and say it, and I was like, why would you take it away from me?
I want to see Wolverine.
That was gonna be on my list.
I think we're gonna see other stuff, and we're gonna mention those other things later. Obviously, Spider-Man and stuff like that. But I think if we see Wolverine, and seeing how much it's progressed, because I'm sure it was just an announcement when they made that CG trailer.
Yeah.
And they just barely had a concept in mind, whatever it is. And Insomniac being the monsters that they are.
Right.
And they just devour dev time. They're like, no, get in there. For them to come out with a gameplay trailer would jack up the hype straight away. Because right now, we're like, Wolverine is a great character. I'm excited to see what comes from them.
Yeah.
And we're all excited. But then seeing gameplay, we're like, yo, I wasn't ready to be this hyped yet. I wasn't ready. And that will take the showcase to a whole new level.
Also, Gotham Knights has set the gameplay requirement bar so low.
God.
You know?
Woo, boy.
You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm with you. I think seeing something from Wolverine,
Yeah.
and by something I don't mean another CG trailer. Like, it doesn't have to be I mean, just a small fight scene so we can see how he's going to move and interact, right? Something like that.
Or even hear his voice.
Yeah, some lines.
Or if there's another character that you think is going to be like, is going to play a big part,
Right,
maybe
tease
drop
the
them in,
story.
something
Yeah,
like
is it
that.
going to be Sabretooth? Is it
Yeah.
going to be like Magneto? What's going to be the villain?
Yeah, I think that'd be the thing. Do you think it's too soon though?
If it wasn't for the fact that it's Insomniac, I'd say yeah, probably. But it is Insomniac, so I don't think it's unreasonable to be like, yeah, I'd like to see something, because it is them, and we sort of not expect it from them, but somehow they seem to produce it.
Yeah. They're insane. They just seem to pop them out like
Right.
that. Gamsmaster wrote into patreon.com/Conbrosations, just like you guys can if you become a patron at the $1 level and above. He says, "G'day, bros. A pretty obvious game I'd like to see at the PlayStation Showcase would be Wolverine. There's so much we don't know about it, and I feel it would be the time to show it off. That's all I have this week. Let's have a good one."
Agreed.
I'm glad I'm not the only one thinking in this, because I was worried that I was jumping the gun. Like I said, it might be a bit too soon. We don't even know anything of it. All we know is that it's going to be R-rated. It's strange as well that we haven't heard any like leaks or any details or any sort of directions or anything. It's just
I'll tell you why.
Wolverine and it's R-rated. See you later.
I'll tell you why I think we haven't had any leaks, because I genuinely think Insomniac moves so fast that by the time a leak comes out, it's not relevant
It's
anymore.
invalid.
Now the guy gets to the end of the door, like goes down the hall, takes a picture, gets to the door, realizes what he's got isn't in date anymore.
Like he's in the Slack channel. He's like, screenshot that, and then by the time he posts it, another message coming through. We've completely gone new directions.
Yeah.
God damn it.
That's exactly what I think is going on, to be honest. Also, it makes you realize that most of these leaks aren't really leaks.
Yeah.
They're PR events,
Yeah.
which I hope most of you are aware of.
Either that or some journalist pretending so he can get some
an anonymous
attraction.
source has given me these images that definitely weren't made by an artist on Fiverr. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, Wolverine. Who would play Wolverine? Who would do the voice for Wolverine?
The thing is, voicing him's not too hard. Playing him's hard.
True. Because that's the thing that like the MCU is going to suffer from.
Right.
It's going to be so difficult to find someone to replace Hugh Jackman.
Right.
He's done everything Wolverine on screen.
Right.
How are you gonna get that out of people's heads?
Right. Exactly. It's going to be very difficult, and I feel like because we've gone so long with Hugh Jackman as the only Wolverine, we've had a lot of Supermanses,
Yeah. Superman.
and a lot of Batmanses.
Yeah.
And so people are used to like having to adapt to a new sort of, say, trilogy of Batmen or Superman. But Hugh Jackman's been Wolverine for like 20 years.
Yeah.
Like literally 20 years. No one's come close. And he has done him well on screen, and then done some trash movies on screen, and then done Logan, which was like the only Wolverine movie we've ever had, and we're not talking about anything else.
What about X-Men Wolverine?
No, I know. X-Men Origins. No.
I'm sorry, but what about the elevator scene with Ryan Reynolds?
Please
That was
don't.
the elevator scene was fantastic. Everything else was trash about that movie. Then he pops out,
Yes.
just like
The elevated scene was
shredding
good,
bullets.
and the fact that it was sort of come full circle in the end of Deadpool 2.
Dead man.
Dead Man. So I was thinking about someone being dead. So, voicing him not particularly difficult. Just the guy's got to be aggressive and abrasive and say "bub" a lot,
Yeah.
and then you're Wolverine. It's only playing him on screen that's really the difficult thing. I still think it is early. In my heart of hearts, it is early, but it's Insomniac, so you genuinely never know. They might be like, "Yo, by the way, Holiday 23."
When was Wolverine announced?
I want to say it was 2020. It was this year.
This
Early-
year.
I want to say it was January of this year.
Let's see. Marvel Wolverine announcement. Oh, okay, it was the last September event.
Okay, so
So 2021. Yeah.
so
Okay, I thought it may have been the year before,
Before.
so I thought maybe it would be.
yeah, those 2 years, 2020 to the beginning of 22, just a blur.
Just mashed into
Those 2 years were one crazy decade, I tell you, bro. So like it to go from concept to showing anything in 2 years is ridiculous.
Yeah.
However, they do have a lot of assets that sort of transfer really well. Like AI and combat stuff from Spider-Man would fit very well here. So I wonder if they don't already have the skeleton ready and they just have to slap different like meat on the bones.
Yeah.
Be an interesting one.
It'll be interesting if they somehow pull it out of the bag. It's a dream scenario. If they somehow pull it out of the bag, and they pull out a snippet of gameplay, the show will blow up the internet.
This is the thing: is we need one of two things, not both, just one. Either something that teases what the story's going to be like,
yes,
right, and that can be cinematic,
yeah.
or they can show us a scene of Wolverine fighting henchmen.
Bruv, they're hench.
Or a mini-boss, just so we can see the combat, right? Or like, for example, I was pitching the blade wall running.
Yes.
This could be 5 seconds long or 8 seconds long, and you'd be like, Wolverine is gonna like traverse the map in brand new ways, and you show him like gliding down a building. Yeah, how cool would that be? Right. His like that like heavy parkour, because he's a heavy dude, because
he's a bit heavy.
So he can't be doing like Spider-Man agility stuff, right? But
he lands on a car, crumples it.
Right, he's kind of a wrecking ball in that sense. But you can show that, right?
Yeah.
And you talk about it. If you're in something, you say, look, you've seen the traversal of Spider-Man. You show something like, you go, well, here's how we're doing it with Wolverine, right? And you show that. You're going to drop off something sort of like the, the Assassin's Creed, the swan dive thing into the hay, except it's onto a car. Doom. Like, why not? Why can't you do it? Why can't that be a way he gets around the map? Seriously.
Dropping a cannonball on a paper bag.
Yeah, so like maybe you say, look, if he falls off, like in Spider-Man, if you jump off a skyscraper, he just lands on the ground, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you do that with Wolverine, but then he has to recover, and you put him into a limp animation for like 30 seconds or something. Right. Picks himself up, takes a while, and he limps for 15 seconds, and his health recovers. Because he could do that. Or you say, well, if you want a softer landing, pick a car or a dumpster or something, or you make that part of the traversal. Okay, cool. Do him blade running down the thing, and then say, of course, combat, and you show him fighting some henchmen, but instead of, Spidey, where he's flipping and jumping, he like grabs a guy, picks him up, hurls him into another dude. You show just the difference in combat. Done. 8 seconds. Boom. We don't need to see the map. We don't need to know where the setting is. We don't need to know any of that stuff. It can be in no color. It can just be the models and be like, this is what we're working on.
Honestly, that's what I envision it to be. Because it's early and whatnot, I envision it to be, they show the villain of the game or whatever it might be. And it's someone big. Let's say Magneto first. Let's say Magneto. Someone big. And then you see him like reaching at his hand, and then you see like Wolverine like being still. You hear Wolverine's voice for the first time, like, oh shit, that's so cool. And then you just see like a bunch of like half-a-second clips back to back of him in gameplay of him just like shanking people with his claws, throwing them across the place, jumping off the wall, and then just like coming at the camera, and then just like, that's it, Wolverine, boom, done. That's all you need, and that will be a hype. The hype will be up here.
That might steal the show as well.
Exactly. I think it will. Show,
even from Ghost of Tsushima 2.
And that's your next one. Here we go.
I will be honest. I do think if that, something like what we just pitched for Wolverine, would steal the show from Ghost of Tsushima 2. Because Ghost of Tsushima 2, it's a game that I'm obviously highly awaiting.
Yeah.
But in a weird way, sort of like Spider-Man 2, which I know is obviously going to be on the list, we know what we're getting. We know it's Insomniac. We know what we're getting, right? We just don't know what the story is.
Exactly. Ghost of Tsushima.
Exactly. Ghost of Tsushima, made by the same guys. These three games: Wolverine, Spider-Man. Like with Sucker Punch, we know that we are getting incredible jewels, a gorgeous-looking game, which, in fairness, like there are other games, the Infamous series, are surprisingly good-looking.
So to this day as well, surprisingly good looking.
Yeah, Second Son still holds up.
Yeah.
Which is weird, because it shouldn't, because that game's like 8 years old.
It's a launch game, I think, for the PS4. Right? Or, maybe the year after launch.
Yeah,
I mean,
like that, it's old.
Early.
It's old, and it looks good for its age.
Yeah.
So we're going to get a gorgeous game. We're going to get the most fluid melee combat I can think of. I can't think of a better system than, the duels, at least. and then it's probably going to be set in probably mainland Japan. It's probably going to be like Ghost of Tokyo, right? Where Jin's being hunted by the Shogun, because that's sort of what was teased. And whether or not you pick which ending at the end determines who else is there. But like, that's probably what we're getting. I'm gonna love it, and it's gonna be awesome.
How excited are you for a Ghost of Tsushima 2?
I'm trying to make it seem like I'm not too excited, because if I'm too excited, it won't happen.
It has to happen soon, right?
Surely.
If this event is happening like next week, we might get an announcement as we're recording the show, because it's a week away from the predicted date of when it's coming out. I feel like we haven't heard anything from Ghost of Tsushima, not even a tease, but we know they're making a second one. We know they're making a sequel. It was so successful in this brand new IP. Surely you would build on it. We're just waiting for it now. When was it 2019?
2019 it came out.
2019. It's been a while.
It has been a while. We know they are working on it.
Yeah.
We know they are. My genuine suspicion, and this is where the worry creeps in, is that it's their Legends mode that they're going to be working on as a way of continued revenue generation, which I don't necessarily, just to wrap this up very quickly, I don't necessarily have a problem with it as long as it's like skins and stuff, because that makes perfect sense to me. I worry that they're going to do it just like they did. DICE did Battlefront 2. And it's just going to be a pay to win or something like that, because they're trying to make more money, and that then they might kind of phone in the actual game, the story. That's a genuine concern of mine.
I have the opposite feeling to this.
Okay.
So I was thinking to myself, we had that report that apparently they've got 10 live service games that are coming between when that report came out to March next year.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard a single one yet.
I haven't had any.
I do think Ghost of Tsushima Legends will come back, and I think it deserves to come back because it was so freaking good.
It was.
It's just the way that it released in the first game, the way it was staggered, and it was like, okay, it's just an update. No one really cares about just an update. Right. Oh, no, actually, it's a standalone game now, but I mean, we've already played Ghost of Tsushima. No one cares about that. Right. We've moved on. That kind of thing really sort of hurt it.
And they didn't give us what we really wanted, which was the jewels.
Well, what everybody wanted, everyone was saying.
Are you honestly going to tell me people would rather like team up and fight against AI? Do you know what I mean?
Who knows? But what they gave us was fantastic, and I was kind of gobsmacked. I was like,
for free.
First of all, for free, but second of all, what right did you have to first of all make Ghost of Tsushima? What right did you have then to come out and make a banger multiplayer game based off of everything? Yeah. That's so much fun. And then just chuck it in there for free. Like, what? Where do you get off?
And it fit the story. Because it fit the one of the legendary things was the Uchitsune's bow. And he hits you with like acid, basically. And you start like freaking out and seeing him as a demon. And that's kind of the world you're in there. Yeah. Except they're like, no, only demons are real. You have to fight these guys, and so it sort of fits within the game. Yeah. And then it made they made classes out of nowhere, and gave them totally different styles and like ultimate abilities and incredible skins.
Yeah,
like,
and there was all these like cooperative parts within the game. They came up with all these different game versions. They came up with all these
traversal mechanics.
I was like, this is a really good multiplayer, and I all I want is for them to somehow, I guess, do a massive update for it, maybe re-release it, redo it, make it a big deal, show everyone it's like, yo, this is a really good like multiplayer combat game based in the Ghost of Tsushima universe. Ghost of Tsushima branding on it. It's got the same feeling. If you buy the game, you get Ghost of Tsushima 2, you get this, and this for it, etc., etc. I think it could be really cool. I really believe that game deserves to come out in the way that gives it what it deserves. Because the way it came out the first time totally felt like it was just an additive thing that you could easily ignore, and most people did.
I'd like to see it come out like zombies in COD.
Yeah.
Where like it comes out with a full blown COD, you know,
Yeah.
goes to Tsushima 2 or goes to Tokyo, whatever it's going to be. And then the online stuff is going to be, one, I want them to play with the maps a bit.
Yeah.
I need to clear my throat. Oh my days.
That frog is
Jesus,
back, son.
it's back. It lives here, I swear. One, I want them to play with the maps. Like, the maps aren't massive, right?
Yeah.
Which means that, why didn't we set some of these in, like, a castle?
True.
Right? So we could have, you know, there's a thing that you have to defend in the courtyard, and then one on, like, this floor and one on that floor, so that rather than just being open and these enemies spawning out of, like, a forest, suddenly they're coming through, like, you know, they're opening those doors with the paper and coming through, like, hidden places. You can do a bunch of stuff with that.
Yeah.
Give us duels for real, because they have this incredible dual mechanic. I should be able to fight my mates, like, so that should definitely be in there. And then play with the game modes a bit. You know, it could be oh my days, it can be a horde thing, you know, a swarm.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, horde mode.
Horde.
Yeah, it can be a horde mode. There's a bunch of things that they can do with it, and I really could see it being very popular. Basically, the historical version of, like, the COD online stuff,
Yeah.
like the zombies and achievement stuff. I don't see why they don't play with it.
Maybe this is all stuff they're planning for this, like,
Yeah.
for the next version of Tsushima Legends, whatever it is, when they, like, redo themselves. This might be their plan, to just relaunch themselves, put
Yeah.
all of this new content out there, put it out into the wild, and for it to get its own fair shake. Because when Ghost of Tsushima Legends came out, it didn't get reviewed by anyone. It didn't get talked about by anyone. And that's the cycle that it needs. And it's just because of the staggered way they put themselves out. If they put themselves out as this is a standalone product. If you buy Ghost of Tsushima 2, you get it as well. But this is a standalone product. This is a multiplayer thing that we're going to constantly invest in. This has got seasons in it.
Yeah.
It's got this season. It's got that. You can do this. You can do that. Blah, blah, blah. And keep going. And add all of this content that we're talking about. I think it gets the thing it deserves. And I do think it's something truly unique. And I like the idea of this, like, PlayStation are going to do multiplayer, but they're going to do it in a way that you've not really seen before.
This would be the perfect place to do that, where you've not seen it before. Other things like something where maybe say, okay, look, duels, like that, being able to join your mates, that's in it for free, right?
Yeah.
If you want to buy stuff, you can buy, like, skins. One of the things you could buy, we're just going to throw this out there, sword fights get kind of samey, right? Like, the only thing that really changed in the duels was the moves that the guy did, but the duel itself looked the same. You could get one of those gift makers to chop between them, and you wouldn't really be able to tell the difference, right?
Yeah.
But you could reskin that to be like a dude fighting you with a spear, and all you have to do is just change the animation so the blocks look slightly different and the attacks look slightly different, but in terms of the code, they're the same. And then now, if I want to fight you with the spear, I can spend either 5 or 10 or whatever it is to unlock spear characters, and I can just cosmetically change the way it looks. You know? I mean, there's a bunch of different ways to do it. I pitched it. I've been pitching this for a while. There's loads of different ways to do it. I actually do think that it shouldn't be like everybody comes in at the same level. I think there should be a skill points thing where, like, a pick 21, you know, where, like, you know how when you're leveling Jin up, you can pick, like, different stances and stuff?
Yeah.
Like, maybe you do that. So maybe let's just say that's only swords. Because then you have to make the distinction of, like, if you're going to give someone a spear, do they get spear moves? Well, do they get spear moves like in the game, like the NPCs that had the spears? So let's just stick with swords. Obviously, you don't need to do anything with, like, the shield breaker or the spear thing, but just on the sword tree, how many points are you going to put where? What moves are you going to unlock?
Yeah.
Are you going to put points into, like... I should try and find that tweak, because I really thought about it. But, like, if you have 21 points, maybe you can, like, buff your stagger damage, or buff the amount of stagger that you have, buff your health.
Yeah.
So, like, are you going to go in with regular health and all these moves unlocked, but, like, you're a glass cannon? If he hits you, you're done.
Exactly.
Or are you going to go in with, like, really high health or medium health and high stagger, but you only got 2 moves unlocked, so you're going to have to really work hard to do this.
I really hope they put this kind of thought into it. This kind of depth to a multiplayer game can get really good.
Right.
And I hope they put that kind of
And then you're kind of like one of those OG samurai, right? Because if you people watched Samurai Champloo with us for Anime Club, and historically, like, samurai would go around trying to fight the best swordsman, and they would have different styles, right, and different ways of doing things. And so maybe you build out a stagger guy where, like, you have high health and you do a lot of stagger damage because you're looking to break guards, but if you take stagger damage, you're done as well, but you don't have very many moves, right, that your Jin or your samurai can do. Somebody else maybe has a ton of moves that they can do, but they don't do a lot of stagger, so they've got to, like, really time it to block your attack and then get into one of their moves. Like, that sort of chess game, where you would have to do it every game. You know, you're going to set up, like, your duels. I'm going to go in, you know, build out a samurai and then set yourself into, like, the duel lobbies. And then, look, if you just get wrecked, you're like, okay, the stagger thing, that doesn't work. I need to, you know, having one hit, that doesn't work. I need to have more health, you know?
Yeah.
Come back, rebalance your guy, and put yourself back into the lobbies. And you're going in, you see
potential in this. So
right?
much potential.
And then you're going to have, like, all those discussions of, like, is it better to have 3 points in stagger and 2 in HP, or 3 in HP and 2 in stagger, you know? Or, like...
This could spawn a massive community, like a massive community of multiplayer, like, Ghost fans. And this could be a big thing. And I think I hope Sony see it. We don't know. We're thinking it's logical, but then Sony, being the dickheads sometimes that they are, they're just like, oh, we didn't see it. We were too busy focused on making movies of games that we didn't want.
Don't get me started. The thing is, obviously Sony is a Japanese firm. This should be something that they would jump straight on and be like, yo, you need to get this stuff in. Because in Japan, Kendo, that's like the wooden sword fighting stuff, basically their version of fencing, massive. And people still read, like, they read Musashi books for, like, business lessons. Business places constantly espouse, like, the values of samurai for, like, high-level CEOs and shit. Like, you'd think that they'd be like, oh, yeah, let's get some jewels in this, right? Because that's an intrinsic part of the whole history and lore and mystique.
To be fair, though, while it is the company is Japanese, it's Sucker Punch doing it. So,
but they wrote the perfect love letter to Japan. They did. Clearly understand, like, the history and like the draw and the movie aspect. The fact they have a Kurosawa mode, right, and the game released with Japanese and English voice actors made, you know, custom for the game, not just like, oh yeah, here's a Japanese thing. No, they mapped the lines. So I would be really surprised if they haven't thought of it. Maybe just someone hasn't pitched it in the right way. And someone goes,
I'll be surprised. I'll be so surprised that I don't think it's possible they haven't thought of it. Surely. Surely in this next one.
If they don't do it, no joke, they need me to come in and consult. Because, like,
we'll have to start a campaign on Twitter. Be like, guys, look, you've dropped the ball. You've lost it. You're not thinking as many things.
Let Sheps come in.
Sheps will come in.
Implement duels. The other thing is, right, let's say they do mess it up and they just give us legends like before, and somehow magically we get me in there to pitch duels, right? Give me a bare bones team. Give me, like, a few guys that did the duels fights, the mechanics, and a couple of guys that do the legends, right? And if we can get that up and running and just playing in the office, I can get it out, you know? And I do think that idea of, like, picking your own stats. So you build your samurai, and then you have, like, cosmetics, so how he looks and shit. But, like, the points the things that determine the difference, that's on you, right? I really feel like that level of, like, involvement. And then there is obviously the skill gap. Like, you know, two guys with different builds, maybe they rock, paper, scissors each other, but then they come with the same build and it's all skill. Like, that level of changeability where, like, imagine going into a league table, right? And me and you are, like, at the top, we're going to face off. And I'm like, I know Ed always builds high HP. So I'm going to rock, paper, scissors that with high damage. And I know that he's very defensive, so I'm not going to worry about my health. Right? And then you're thinking, I know Sheps knows how I play. So I'm going to play completely different.
It's mental chess game. Back and forth.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I could see that being so popular.
I could see that being great. That honestly sounds fantastic.
doesn't it? And then we can build a leader table for the Discord, right?
Oh.
So we can, like, you know, you get into a fight or an argument with someone, well, freaking duel me.
And then 8 years later, PlayStation will do the integration with Discord into PlayStation as well.
Right.
And then we'll finally get to do that on PS7.
And then I will hire somebody to build in a crappy dub translator. So you're talking to someone on Discord and you're like, I'm going to kill you. And it translates to, you're no better for me.
That'd be so funny.
Yeah. You know, but like in just the worst, like, worst bad dubbing. Like, once we're done here, I'm coming for the rest of your clan. You're over. You're done for.
Sticking to the thought of, so we talked a lot about the multiplayer.
We did. I'm really sorry. I think the game's going to come out. We don't really know the setting.
Ghost of Tsushima 2.
Yeah.
Quite excited for something like that. I do think we are overdue.
Massively, because we know
Overdue.
for a fact they're working on it, don't we?
That's the- I
They
don't thi-
released a statement.
I don't think they've said anything.
was it
That's
a
the
leak?
thing. Let me just quickly Google search because I don't think they've actually said anything. We've all just operated under the assumption that it was massively popular.
I think.
Of course, it's gonna get a fucking
I think the way this
sequel.
worked is they specifically said we're working on our next project, and then they confirmed that it wasn't Sly Cooper or Infamous. That's what I think is actually the case.
Maybe.
Which means process of elimination. It's got to be Ghost of Tsushima, unless they're going to do like.
It's legit what we thought. So it's a bunch of headlines. Ghost of Tsushima 2 confirmed through job listing. Ghost of Tsushima 2 confirmed is the worst kept secret because of job listing.
Right.
They haven't
But they
said
haven't
it
actually
themselves.
said it.
They've just said we're not working on Sly Cooper or Infamous. See ya.
Watch though.
What are you doing there? Tell them what you are.
Watch what it will be is instead of Ghost of Tsushima 2, it's going to be like Duelist of Italia. And it's going to be like an Italian like fencing thing.
It's like we did such a
People
good...
love sword fights.
That's the reason why they bought the game. The swords.
They just
nothing
love
else.
swords.
It's like we were in the halfway through Ghost of Tsushima 2, and we realized, why do people really like Ghost of Tsushima 2? The swords.
Right, the swords and the dubbing.
So we scrapped everything, and we went back to the drawing board, and Ghosts of Italia 2. We've skipped 1, we've just gone straight to 2, and we've brought fencing. There you go. Everything you guys want in a game. Frick! Shep slowly dying in the corner.
Have you seen the volcano where the guy like dissolves in the lava?
No.
There's this OG movie with that one. Who's in it?
Oh wait, the one with, I know what you're talking about, in the train.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the guy like jumps out.
He's got a girl in his hand,
Yeah.
and he like tosses her and dies in the.
Right. That's gonna be me in the corner. No, it wasn't the swords.
Everyone, if that happens, I would go personally and do one of those clips where you do the compilations of people's reactions.
Yeah.
Just to be like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Oh, what the hell is this? What? What? Italy? What? That's what I would do.
Well,
God.
now I have a new nightmare.
There you go. Well, if you ever slept, that would be something.
Lucky for me.
Lucky.
What's your next game?
This one's unlikely because I think they actually said that they're going to show it more next year.
Okay.
But I think they also said very, very soon. So I don't know what I think they might have said. Let me say what it is. The new factions mode for The Last of Us.
Okay.
I've gone from not giving a crap about Last of Us factions. I know there's a dedicated community out there, 4 people.
Yeah, 4 people from 2013.
I know there's a dedicated... You 4 people are great. You're great people. I hear great things about you. But I never cared about it.
Agreed.
Then when they said they're going to reinvent it, they're going to do it, I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Let's see what's going to happen here. They've clearly got some motivation here.
Yeah.
And then when they showed it off, and they showed off that it's going to be like a story-based multiplayer game set in a different part of the world, so it's like set in San Francisco, I was like, interesting, because the outbreak didn't just affect this one place, like
Right.
fucking where Joel and Ellie is all the time.
Right.
It's the whole world that's gone bad. So it's quite cool. And it got me thinking that what would a multiplayer game from such a heavy heavy story focused studio, one that's pioneering it really, in my opinion, what would they make? What would their multiplayer game look like? And it got me kind of excited. I was thinking they could do like almost seasons of like multiplayer content, single player campaign content drops. So like every now and again they'll be like, guys, there's a big outbreak of so and so clickers on this side. There's a medicine truck that needs to be picked up or something like that, and then everyone in the community joins up on that day, and we all go and get it or something like that. Right. Whatever it might be, but there's like a whole like story that drops with it.
Where it's not PvP, it's PvE.
Yes. PvP. I don't think. I'm not a fan of it. I prefer you make it against enemies rather than people. That's my personal opinion.
Maybe I misunderstood what Factions wasn't, because I assumed Factions was like 6 Joels versus 6 Joels.
That's what Factions was originally, but it seems like they've really departed from that. It seems like they're doing something else.
Do you know what I think would work really well for Factions? Is something close to the Division, where in general it's like,
exactly my thinking.
You guys need to. The hospital was overrun by clickers, but we've had an outbreak of like tuberculosis or something. It's Red Dead Redemption. The only antibiotics are in there.
Yeah.
So you guys all need to go in and collect antibiotics or whatever, right? And then you do another version of that where you're like, the enemy town also has an infection of antibiotics, and you have to go in and get the.
I was going to say, because that's the interesting part of The Last of Us, right? Yeah. Like, Days Gone, the most terrifying part of Days Gone really is the hordes of zombies. With The Last of Us, the zombies are, the clickers are all very scary and stuff like that. But they're not super common everywhere. They're about to overrun your house or something like that.
And once you know how to deal with them, they're not too hard. The thing that's really
chuck
scary...
a brick, shank them, done like that. Right. The one that's really scary are the people in The Last of Us world. And there's a lot of elements that you could add there. There's this gang that we never knew about on the other side of San Francisco that's running everything, that's running this whole territory. They've taken 2 of our guys hostage already. We need to go over there. We need to deal with them. Right. How do we deal with them? It's a community event. We have to go around. And just like the Division type thing, like you said, they've got a base in the museum or whatever it might be. I think that could really fit in The Last of Us.
Yeah, it would work well.
I personally think they're Naughty Dog are so talented that they're probably doing something beyond what I could even think of.
Well, the other thing is you could make it where, there were PvP zones.
Yes.
So you can make it so depending on which side of the zone you enter from. So let's just take this hospital as an example. The Rat King Hospital.
Yeah.
Our village, there's an infection here. We need the antibiotics. Whatever. The only place is the hospital. You enter from village A side, so you're trying to get it for village A. Somebody else enters village B side. They're on village B. And, there's clickers and stuff in there, but guess who else is there? People that entered from the other side. Yeah. And now there's your PvP, but you still have the PvE aspect of why are you freaking there?
Yeah. That's a good point. That's a good one.
I think they should model it on sort of the way the Division did it.
Yeah.
I think that would work. It gives you a reason to get PvP in. You can have specific PvP zones. So if I want to fight people, and I want the PvP, either go to the zone or set the option or whatever.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you got stuff to do.
I'm interested in this a lot. I could purely just because of the idea that it's a single player heavy story focus studio working on a multiplayer game, and what they come up with could be the new industry standard. It could be the new thing that just everyone goes fucking.
So that's how you do it. Yeah.
Exactly. Because I know, but there is a huge community of Destiny players out there.
Yeah.
But the way that Destiny released, in the beginning, being so light and being so brand new in the MMO space, that it wasn't the most detailed thing compared to what it is now. And I want to give Destiny a shout out, because now what Destiny is, still being so story rich and managing to weave it through all of the missions that you play, through all of the having this massive arc of all these characters, and then being a incredibly detailed now MMO on top of that, with all of these little buffs, debuffs, these mods, these masterworks that you can work on your weapons and your armors, and all these little tiny things these you can add to make your character so much cooler and so much more powerful, or in this or that. I really have to give a shout out to them, and they don't get enough credit because of the way that it happened, because it was like a learning curve all the way through.
Yeah.
And people only really remember how you came out versus what you are now.
Yeah, you don't get a second chance at a first impression.
That's it. That's the
Yeah.
impression. That's the thing. Right. That's the saying right there. But yeah, that's. I really think they deserve a shout out, and I want something like that for The Last of Us. Something where it's like this deep, rich story that goes all the way through it, and then somehow they manage to weave multiplayer into that, so you can take your friends along.
And this is why I think if any of the shows are going to survive, it'll be The Last of Us show, because ultimately they only have to do two things: make a believable zombie set,
Yeah.
like post-apocalyptic world, and then tell the Ellie and Joel story correctly. That's it. And the thing about that is that, as we saw in The Last of Us, the human element of things is constantly changing and viable in any setting, really. So you can have a continuous online presence, right? Where, depending on how you want to do things, either you go to new maps and be like, okay, like I was pitching with the live service stuff, the original base, overrun by clickers, we all had to leave. We go to the new place, and it opens up new stuff. The old content's vaulted, it's behind the clicker wall.
Yeah.
And now you have this new area, and what is the new threat? The new threat is in this area of, like, say it's somewhere swampy, like you ended up in Louisiana, right? Like, one, how about we can now get the environment in place? Now you got alligators to worry about.
Oh.
And because you're in the swamps, there's a lot of bloaters, not in comparison to however many you found in the place. And you got a bunch of different types of people and different transport. So now maybe the map's bigger, but you have airboats. But if you use the airboats, everything's going to...
Or attracted to you.
Right? There's a bunch of different ways to make this work.
So possibilities are endless. And I'm sure they're working on all this stuff.
And also, it's the perfect, like, zombie apocalypse, because you can have that mix of stuff can be slow if you want it to be slow, or fast, like Infected in 28 Days Later if you want it to be fast. You can have PvE enemies. I'm sure there's a bunch of other things you could do with, like, not just Rat Kings.
Yeah.
You want to really fuck somebody up. Turns out the virus can infect gorillas as well.
Ooh.
Boom. Yeah, imagine a freaking gorilla bloater.
Mate.
Nightmare fuel.
That is nightmare scenario. That's nightmare scenario. I would shit myself.
Right? And then, hillbillies. Bad enough
Worse.
when they were just hillbillies.
And now they're infected. Ah, gross.
Right? But, like, you can have the umpteen different ways of doing things, where you can have, like, The Last of Us 2 did it perfectly. You had the guys in California, which I do think that entire section wasn't needed, but you've got, like, slavers. You think slave power is going away now that engines aren't a thing?
Oh,
Trust me.
Definitely. Definitely.
You got, like, the religious lot. You got just a village looking out for itself. You got a place that's relatively peaceful, like in Joel's area, Montana, or wherever it was. Like, all of this stuff can exist all at the same time, So there's a bunch of different ways to do this. A bunch of different ways to do this.
I'm excited to see what happens.
These two projects, honestly, The Last of Us and Ghosts of Tsushima, I feel like there's so much potential there. They just need to get the core concept of how they're going to go about it right from a starting point perspective. You do factions like we've pitched it, and you do legends like we've pitched it, and they can spiral out naturally in any direction whichever's the most popular direction. You do it the way they did, like, legends before or factions before, and it's like you specifically locked yourself into a thing without having any idea of whether or not it was popular.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And, for example, like our factions, maybe it turns out the PvP is all anyone's interested in. Okay, cool. Now we can give you story reasons for why you're fighting these other people, as opposed to it's just 6v6 and you're bumping heads. Or maybe it turns out that people don't want either. They want a mix of both, So they want it to be where, like, you go into your hospital thing and there are clickers and bloats and stuff, an enemy there, but you don't actually have to fight each other. You could cooperate, and then maybe you backstab each other at the end, or maybe you don't. Maybe you cooperate and then you just teabag the enemy and you both leave with 50% of the thing.
Yeah.
But until that's implemented, and you can look at the data and go, you know what? 70% of our traffic was in this mode, and within that mode, people tended to mostly do like 70% of our 70% of traffic, 60% of them did only the PvE stuff, but when there was no enemy team, they stopped playing. And you go, okay, so we want the conflict, but they preferred the PvE. How are we going to get these two teams? So like Legends did this, where they had an enemy team on the opposite side of the map that could affect you.
Yes.
But we could never interact with them.
Yes.
And it was ended up being more of a race. And that wasn't... I think people would prefer actually being able to like fight them.
I personally liked it, but that's just because I don't personally like PvP. I personally like PvE over PvP. And when they added that element where it was like, okay, you can put things in my world that's gonna like distract me and like it will slow me down. I was like, that's an interesting way without severely pissing me off and fucking just, all right, I fuck off. Right, I've got a job to do.
What if? Let me pitch you that same thing. So imagine if you didn't play it, you were basically playing the identical map on each side, and like a mystical gully in the middle where you couldn't cross. Now, what if you could do this where there would be like an outcropping where you can go and you can start shooting people. But you can also be shot. So there is actually that element of you personally getting involved. So like in The Last of Us, maybe find a window somewhere or a balcony, and you can shoot down at the enemy team, but they can shoot up at you, and the other balcony can shoot you as well.
Interesting. Interesting.
So you're not just like, hitting a door and opening something so bloaters and clickers can get in, which would be cool. And or maybe you can get enough stuff together, so like maybe collect stuff on your side to like build a rope ladder, and you can let one guy down, and that one guy can come in to like my side, or like let's say your team's over there, we get enough rope on my side and I can come down into your side of the hospital, whatever, and it's just me, but I can come in and start like fighting you guys until I'm eventually taken out, and I have like a 1 minute respawn time before I can come back to my side. So like there are actually people that you're dealing with, but they're not just affecting your environment. You have to interact with them in some way.
There's a mode in Destiny called Gambit. They have this mode where like you're supposed to be picking up, I can't remember what the fuck they're called, but you pick up these like light orbs, right?
Okay.
And then you deposit them in this one spot in the middle of the map. And when you get to certain points, you send enemies to the other side that block their depositing area.
So they have to fight their way to.
They have to beat the boss, and then it opens up, and they can deposit their stuff. And at certain points, your portal opens up where you can jump to the enemy side, and you have like 25 seconds where you can murk as many people as you can. And obviously, it slows. If they have any of those light orbs, they lose them.
Okay.
A similar thing like that could be done in all of these things. Like, halfway through this map, the thing has opened up where you can send one person to the other side,
right.
and then there's like an Ellie on the other side, just in the fucking bushes somewhere, just like,
right.
And then it's like, oh fuck, there's an enemy in our area, and then after like 20 seconds they disappear, they go back to their side.
Yeah.
Or if they get killed, there's a penalty or something like
right.
that. Such cool ideas, and the same thing with Ghost of Tsushima. It's obviously even better with Ghost of Tsushima because it's mystical and you can just teleport them over there. But that was a good idea as well in Destiny, and that could work too. These are all really good ideas, and I hope they implement them.
The thing with all of the ideas that we pitched was that the basis for being able to do that was all from the same core starting point.
Yeah.
Right? Which is starting factions appropriately, setting it up correctly, that allows it to naturally and with a reasonable story motivation get this to happen. Same with my duels thing, right? And Legends mode. You can just put stuff there. But it's better if it makes sense as to why you're there, right? So factions doesn't really make sense. Why are 6 Joels fighting 6 Joels?
Yeah.
Right? You get spawned into a roof, and you're fighting each other. But if it's a case of you enter from one side, they enter from the other side, well, okay,
Yeah. I just had a really nice idea, based off of your gorilla idea.
Yeah, okay.
I was just thinking of like a Last of Us factions raid, where the gorilla is like the big boss at the end, and he's just
it's like a Rat King type scenario.
Yeah, like he's been put in at one point the scientists or the people, the zookeepers who noticed it, saw that he was infected. They moved him to a far more secure cage, And it's just been over the years mutating, getting worse and worse and worse. And then you just hear one day this giant roar in the sky, and you're like, that came from the zoo area.
Yeah.
As far as we knew, that was abandoned, that was completely dead, there was nothing there. We need to investigate, or something might happen. Then like a team of 4 of you go after it, and then you see just this gigantic mutated gorilla. Oh my god, and you have to fight it, take it down. You have to be raid ready. So you guys have picked up shit over the years, like armor, you've picked up ammo and shit like that.
Your hunting rifle's fully decked out.
Oh man, that could be so cool.
It works, and you know, we're using the gorilla example. It can be anything. Like the Rat King makes perfect sense.
That was good too,
like, there's a bunch. What you need is
King Kong.
Right, you just need to hire a couple of creative artists to give you a concept, and you can backwards engineer it. Like for example, the zoo thing. I was thinking make it. So I'm a big fan of there being a story reason why you're there. So like in this case, it just happens we picked a hospital and a zoo, but like so antibiotics fits really well. We ran out of antibiotics. We've already cleared out the hospital. There's a zoo over there. Animal antibiotics. They're basically just rougher versions of human antibiotics. We need to go there. Get your team of 4 people to the raid, and you turn up and you find like the gorilla exhibit, except the bar's all bent and there's just this massive outline, you know, because where you like open let's say you come in through the parking lot, you know, the door opens, and then as it opens you hear, you know, the crunch, just like the gorilla, the Rat King, you hear this massive sound of metal, and as you're exploring, looking for the antibiotics, which coincidentally just past the ape exhibit, you see that like the bars are broken and there's this huge outline on the wall where a gorilla got infected and lay down and sort of got clickered, but it's a, you know, or whatever. It doesn't have to be a gorilla, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like that, it is totally viable. Like makes perfect sense. You know, and then you can be like, okay.
Oh, this is so exciting if this could be. Oh,
this is the other thing
is
now you don't need like a level system necessarily. It's probably not a bad idea, but you could be like day 1. What you need is not. Okay, you don't do levels like, you know, in Destiny you had to hit level 30. You do it in like a level tree. Have you got enough experience to unlock these things? Right? And if you haven't unlocked enough stuff, you could probably get in, but you're going to get killed because this is real life. You really need to make sure you've unlocked the bottom of one tree and halfway through the second skill tree that you're going for, because you're going to need those abilities. You're going to either need the really high healing health packs, or you're going to need your guns to do max damage, or you're going to need to be able to lay the most amount of traps, because if you only lay 4, like you need at least 8. You know, so you could get in, but you'll definitely lose. You need to level your character up in terms of their personal experience, so you don't need levels. And then okay, look, your gun doesn't do enough damage. You need to go out and get a better gun and put enough points in the tech tree so that you can upgrade it. I don't know, man. I do think this could be so well implemented. But it's got, like I said, it's got to start from the right place. Sorry to gush about Ghost of Tsushima and then factions, but we're
trying to just love gaming, you know. That's just what we're doing here. We get into our own minds, and I felt it was a good little conversation.
Is there anything else you think they would announce? Because I think we should kill off this.
Yeah, this is good. Well, there's so many more things. Let's talk Spider-Man 2.
Yeah,
I think they'll show Spider-Man 2. I think it's about time, especially because the release date still says 2023, but that was the original release date. They said they haven't changed that. We don't know if delays are going to affect it. It's possible, although it's Insomniac, so who knows?
Yeah, timelines don't really count for them.
Exactly.
I want to see it, but I'm not like excited for it in a weird way because I know it's going to be incredible.
That's the thing. I'm more interested in how they're going to do it, because they've pretty much confirmed that it's going to be dual protagonists.
Yeah.
And we're going to be up against fucking Venom. Come on.
I'd like to see some more Miles action.
Yeah. I want to see how they're going to do it, because
do you think it'll be Miles, or do you think it's going to be like Pete and like Black Cat?
This is the interesting thing, because I love Miles. A lot of people love Miles, especially after the Miles Morales game. It was great. But people still do have a preference for Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Spider-Man is the thing that we're thinking. And when people think Spider-Man, they think the red suit, they think the friendly neighborhood Spider, they think Peter Parker. That's what they think. So how much of a toss is it? Is it going to be 50-50? Is it going to be...
How much do you want to toss Miles Morales?
How much do you want to toss him off? Is it going to be that they immediately think of a reason to get peter out of there, like he's unconscious or he can't do his thing. He loses his abilities.
That's a terrible way to do it.
Well, this is the thing. I'm not as good as him, but that would be bad, wouldn't it?
Yeah, like
you've advertised 2 characters, and then I first of all just get him out of there.
I think this isn't me like attacking you. I'm just saying I hate the concept of like the guy that you wanted lost his powers, mate. So here's another dude. Like no, we can't. What the reasons we love Miles Morales is because he stood alone and did his own thing in the movie and in the game. And what you don't want to do is reduce Pete to make Miles look good. That's why She-Hulk sucked. That's what that don't reduce your titular character, an incredible character, draw to make the new one look good. You don't do that. You make them stand on their own. So where Pete gets kidnapped and like in the movie, Pete gets kidnapped basically or taken out, and Miles has to come in and save the day.
Yeah.
Not because Pete can do it, but because Miles wasn't captured, and so now he's right.
He has to save the hero.
Right, exactly. And he has to do his hero thing. Like, that's how you do it.
There'd be a lot of cool ways they could do it. I mean, that's the thing I'm most interested in, how they're going to do the dynamic.
Yeah.
Both of them are equally amazing in my mind. So
I love them both.
How do you do 2 amazing people?
Yeah.
If it was just like, for example, the the thing that people always call out in the Spider-Man first game, the one that you didn't play, but in your mind you did.
I don't know how that happened.
People hated the moments where you played as Mary Jane. Granted, Mary Jane isn't a superpower character, so that's why they probably hated it. But when do you hand the reins off from the great character that everybody loves? When do you do that? I'm very interested. I want to see more on Venom. We're probably going to get Green Goblin because it was teased in the last game in the post-credit scene.
A standard win pretty much straight away. He's been done in everything, but
everything. But hey, we'll see how that goes. Is there anything else you have in your mind? The only other things that I have in my mind is 2 things. One, we probably will see gameplay. No, there's 3 things now. We will probably see gameplay of God of War Ragnarok, although I feel like we should not see any more. We're good now until when it comes to...
I fully agree with you, yeah.
Well, I don't need any more. I'm ready. Just give me the slight brush of the air and then I'll explode.
Right.
2, a Bloodborne either sequel or they'll do a PS5 version.
There was a story in that game?
Either a sequel or a PS5 version, because they can't keep on ignoring the fans who just keep talking about Bloodborne. They need to do a PC port. They need to do a PS5 version. They need to do a definitive version of Bloodborne. They need to release it. It's the most played game on PC, PlayStation now. They just want it, make it, do it, give it to us on PS5 as well. We'll pay another $70 for it. Don't worry about it. It will be fine. That's something I'm hoping to see.
That would be cool.
And the final thing, sounds risky, but Insomniac did it. Sony Santa Monica's new game that they're working on. I know that God of War's coming up, and do you want to detract away from their thing like that? But like I said, Insomniac did it. If it's another cool thing, it could just be another cool thing.
Is this that shooter that they were working on that got mothballed and then pulled back in?
We don't know. We don't know exactly. Right. They said they cancelled that one. They were like, it's a futuristic setting sort of a shooter that they were working on, and it got cancelled, and then they went to work on 2018, and that was that. We don't know if they shelved it and they were bringing it back. Yeah. We have no clues as to what it's going to be.
Also, it's going to suck if they're like, come off the back of the 2 best games ever made, and then just make an absolute dumpster fire of a game. We're so proud of this, and it's awful.
It's the worst thing, because when you make the best games ever made, how do you fucking compare?
It's going to be a cyberpunk, isn't it? It's going to be a cyberpunk.
Well, as long as they don't just try and rinse everybody for every penny they've got rather than actually delivering.
True.
Then I guess they'll be okay. I want to see. I think I want to see that.
I'd like.
It's Cory Borlog that's directing it, so I want to know what it is. I'm interested.
I'd like a CG trailer and like a talk. I'd like Cory to sort of tell me the idea, and be like, let's say it is that. Like, okay, we had this project. It got mothballed around the time of God of War. But we're pitching you, here's a trailer for the thing, CG, and it's this. It's set in the future. This is the basic concept. It's first person RPG, whatever. Or like, it's another fancy thing, but we like the God of War thing. We want to bounce off that idea, and we're doing like a Gods of Egypt type thing. Like the movie with Henry Cavill, whatever that was. You know the thing?
Gods of Egypt.
Is it Gods of Egypt?
Yeah. I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah. Like in 2010 when no one knew who he was.
Yeah.
That. Like, cool. Give me like a minute. Let me talk to Corey and let him tell me what the project is and why he's excited about it. And then show me a CG trailer for it. So a bit more than what we got for Wolverine. Because Wolverine, we know Wolverine.
Yeah.
I need to sort of see something. I wouldn't expect any more than that.
Yeah, I'm with you. Tailgate wrote in to our Discord server, just like you guys can by clicking the link in the description. And he goes, I would personally like to see a demo for Spider-Man 2. That seems most likely since it's supposedly coming out next year, unless it's been unofficially delayed like most games have been in recent times. It would be cool to see more of Final Fantasy 16 though, he says, since it's way more action gamey than the previous entries. From what from the producer for 16 has said in the Japanese interviews that's been translated. It sounds nuts and I can't wait for it. Final Fantasy 16 is that game that I said to you that I was like, Final Fantasy 1 through 15, I sleep.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 16, when I saw the trailer, I was like, whoa, this looks great. Where has Final Fantasy been all my life? So I'm interested in that as well, Tailgate.
I just caught the last paragraph that he wrote, and if you see the angle of my laptop changing, it's because I'm in.
I would personally like to see a remake similar to Demon Souls, remake of Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver game. Control the jizz, control. After getting some Legacy of Kain lore videos in my recommended, I would love to be able to revisit those games on more modern hardware because they look like fun games and I have never played them before.
Mate.
They also have really interesting concepts about morality, free will, fate, and time travel. It's
so good.
Yeah.
Soul Reaver, Legacy of Kain sort of departed where you're playing kind of the villain from the Soul Reaver games, Kain, if I remember correctly. But fascinating. There is this like weird time paradox. So good. And like it's just such a cool take on concepts that you've kind of seen before, but they've been done a totally different way, Yeah. I just that would make me play a Souls-like game.
Yeah.
Or a roguelike game, whatever it's called. Man, that's a great freaking idea, man. Did we finish with that quote? I skipped to the bottom.
There was a couple of things. He goes, the last thing in this topic, it would be nice to see, I would also like to see new gameplay from COD Modern Warfare 2 2022's campaign. The big PlayStation showcase seems to be a good place for that. True. I'm interested in this just because it says Modern Warfare 2 in the name. That's the thing.
Yeah, I'm curious how far they departed from our beloved Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah, I wonder.
Then if it's pretty close, because here's one I think that they could just straight up remake. Blops 1. Because there's no weird terrorist scenes. It's like historical but still relevant. So you got like helicopters and machine guns. So it's not like World War One stuff. You don't need to touch it. Just remake it and make the online stuff work, and we're good to go.
Yeah,
I'd be really down for that.
Giuseppe writes into our Discord server.
He's such a troll.
And he says, for the PlayStation 2022 showcase, I would like to see the new Assassin's Creed... No, I'm joking. What would be really awesome to see is more from Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine. Maybe maybe they kept these for the Marvel showcase next week. That's true. That is happening next week. Although we did have a conversation where it was like, does PlayStation want to show it at the Marvel showcase or do they want to show it at their own showcase?
Yeah.
It might be good to show it at the Marvel showcase because then it cements into people's minds. It's like, PlayStation is Marvel, guys.
Right.
PlayStation is Marvel. Or
I feel like if you haven't got that message by now,
For Spider-Man,
it's the home of Spider-Man.
I was saying, for Spider-Man, it's cemented. Spider-Man, everyone, when they think PlayStation, they think Spider-Man. When they think Spider-Man, they think PlayStation. But do they want to also do that for the other stuff? I don't know.
Yeah.
Or do you think it's enough? They're like, people are going to think this as soon as you put out Wolverine.
Because we do, because you got Spider-Man. The Wolverine announcement happened on a PlayStation event. Guardians of the Galaxy, while it was a third party everywhere, that was never bought by anybody on Xbox, and so it came to Game Pass, so it has the perception of being a PlayStation game. It's not, but it has that perception. But the problem is, so many people aren't paying attention. Like, we go, Marvel lives on PlayStation, really, you know? Which, in fairness, means it's RL with Avengers.
Yes.
You know? But so many other wins. So, yeah, interesting. Alfred Quillele says, I don't really care as long as great games are released for you guys on PlayStation. So what I'll say is, bring Game Pass to PlayStation, cowards, and Starfield 2023 PS5 announcement teaser.
Oh boy, you're
this freaking guy.
You're hilarious. Do you know what's funny? I was thinking about Alpha the other day. Not in that way. Don't easy, everyone.
Whoa,
easy,
wait,
easy.
hey,
Yo. No, because you know he's a really big fan of Forza Horizon.
Yeah.
And we make the joke, it's like, oh, it's a boom boom game.
Yeah.
Anytime someone mentions Forza Horizon or even GT7, any brum brum game, I'm like, I imagine them in like a race car bed.
Yeah.
The little kid just like
a Lightning McQueen. Yeah.
So Alpha, that's how. Whenever I think of you, I think of you in a race car bed. I'm like,
So your not sus comment was him in bed. Okay, cool. Good to know.
Good to know. Good to know. Well,
Just to finish off his paragraph, he said, interestingly enough, because it works in, he started playing Immorality, something you'll know about. Immorality.
I've heard about this game. Apparently, it's really well reviewed.
Which I later found out was an Xbox exclusive.
Oh,
I didn't know those things existed.
it's unfortunate. Man.
It's very cool, with a grand total of 0 mission prompts as the player tries to unearth something. It's definitely intimidating.
Wait, hold on. When you say zero prompts,
I think it just doesn't hold your hand at all.
I was going to say, is it a video? What is it? What, you do nothing in the game? What's it? So I've heard. Have you seen the video clip that I'm talking about? There's a streamer, I think, Immortality. Is it Immorality? Immorality. I'm gonna quickly search for this.
No, Immortality.
Immortality.
I can't read.
Neither can I. Don't worry. Immortality game.
I just searched Immortality to see what happens.
Yeah, it's getting a 10 out of 10. It's getting all this stuff. There was a clip.
Talk among yourselves, boys.
So there was a clip of a streamer who was playing a game, and I think it was Immortality. Here we go. There's a sex scene, and it's video. It's not CG like animated. It's video of two people having sex.
Weird.
And they be titties and everything. And I was like,
what was the name of this game again?
Immortality. Just you want to search that? And I'm just confused. And I saw a streamer was like, he was playing. He was like, whoa. And then it's playing out, and it's like, I mean, what do?
Twitch, please don't ban me.
Please don't ban me, please. And I was just like,
in fairness, that one chick banged on stream and only got 7-day suspension.
That's a good point. But he was a man, so therefore the rules are different.
True.
So here you go. I sent you the clip of the. Apparently, this is in the game, and if you fast forward in the clip, you see titties do be coming out and everything. It's not. It's complete porn. It's complete porn.
Well, I prefer complete to incomplete porn,
exactly.
To be fair. Let me just skip through this.
I will not be posting this on the video. Don't ask.
I just. Okay, what a weird way to do it. That's bizarre.
Bizarre, right? And the thing is that
Alpha, you a little sus.
And the game's like 10 out of 10. All these outlets are like 10 out of 10. It's a great game.
There's boobies, we've never seen those before.
We've never seen titties before. Guys, So I'm confused.
That's a bizarre one. Interestingly enough, right below that, there's a comment from Diogo. The very first sentence is, this can be a really short sort of intro topic because this goes to the confusion. Has there ever been a game you initially thought looked shit, but you later came to be really hyped for? Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, for me.
Yeah.
Looked shit, and then it was our game of 2020, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good.
That was strange how that worked out.
Bizarre, but that
Who's
looked
shitting on it?
awful.
It looked terrible. Very terrible.
Yeah.
Very terrible.
What's the next topic? Because I've just realised we're an hour and a half in.
Hold on just 1 second. One from our Patreon. Chris writes in Cobra SS. He says, for the PlayStation Showcase, I'd like a mic drop No Man's Sky Skyrim. Wait,
What?
you want a mic drop on No Man's Sky Skyrim or Starfield if you have to? I think he's trying to fuck with us.
Yeah, he definitely is. And I'm just saying, on brand, he's not interested for Ghost of Tsushima. So.
Yes, on brand. He hates Tsushima. He hates everything Japanese related.
True.
So there we go. Just quickly look through everything else everyone's been said. My ideal. Jeff Shrooms wrote in. He says the big reveal for my ideal 2022 showcase would be Metal Gear Solid 6, but since that isn't going to happen, maybe some Horizon Forbidden West DLC. Do you think we'll get DLC for Horizon Forbidden West?
I think it would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, Frozen Wilds did well, I think. So why wouldn't it come out with it?
It would make a lot of sense, and just the size of the world. Like, we know there's like a whole island to the south of the map that you can see is there, but you can't get to.
Yeah.
So, like, why not?
Exactly. All right. Yeah, so that's all the comments. Thank you very much for writing in, everyone. You're all legends for doing that. And, we'll
Diogo, just for the record, I did read your whole thing about Sonic Frontiers. Just, you weren't ignored.
No one cares about Sonic Frontiers.
Yeah, it's worse. It's not that you weren't ignored. I chose not to bring it up because of, who you are as a person is the problem for me.
Exactly. Bro, this is the True Gamer podcast coming to your eyes and ears every Saturday here at youtube.com/Conbrosations1. If you're listening on podcast services as well, what you need to do is search for us search for the True Gamer podcast on podcast services, and you can get us right to your ears. And on YouTube as well, you'll see us right in your eyeballs. If you like what we do here and you like everything that you hear, you see, all the dirty stuff that we do on camera that all the audio versions don't know about, you can head over to youtube.com/Conbrosations1 and you can subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button and leave us a nice little comment down below saying how good we're doing or what you'd like us to improve on or what your favorite part of the show is. That helps us out a lot in the YouTube algorithms and stuff. If you're on podcast services, you can rate us 5 stars and above. It doesn't go any further than 5 stars. Don't know why I said that. But 5 stars will do just great, and it will help us rise in those algorithms as well. It'd be really cool. If you want to take your support that extra mile, though, if you want to go that one step further, you can head over to patreon.com/Conbrosations, where you can kick us a couple of bucks a month. At the $1 tier, you get access to the Conbrosations podcast, an unfiltered exclusive podcast to Patreon, which we record today. That's going to be coming up. At the $5 tier, you get exclusive access, early access to this podcast, the day it's recorded, and you have to wait till Saturday with all the plebs and everything like that. You can get this podcast right now and have your name read out as a true gamer, because you are just like Adam the High Quality Potato, Jeremy Horde, Gams Master, Super Sheps's Krusty Right Nut, Isak Manny, The Bat Fan, Adam Sunling, Clark 53, Mikey T, Sab 2557, Joe McCormack, Super Whale Ben, Cats McCorrell, hashtag The Boys Season 3 Streamcast. They actually fully completed
Gaming.
Hashtag Make the Nice Guys 2, please, for the love of holy fuck Hollywood, Gerald Tucker, Fishy, The Jackal, Max H, Sam Mason, Cobra SS. Thank you guys so much for keeping the lights and mics on and the gaming going here at the True Gaming Podcast. Hang on. If, however, you don't want to kick us any bucks, if you don't think we're worth it, or if you just don't have the bucks to toss our way, no worries. We appreciate you regardless. Just being here, watching the show, leaving comments, liking, stuff like that is all helpful. We love you and appreciate you. Thank you so much, guys. Bro, let's kick it over to our next topic, which is The Last of Us Part 1 is coming out tomorrow and reviews are up. Has it got the same score as The Last of Us Remastered or The Last of Us Original? Of course not.
No.
Of course not. This is 2022. We are in gaming, and everything is all bullshit. The game that many people were saying was quote unquote the same game.
Yes.
It's just the same game. It's just a little bit of a graphics bump. It's just a little bit of a resolution
people are saying
bump.
it looks the same. I can't see the difference. Please reference the DM I just sent
People
you on
were
Discord.
also sending that, yes, and you sent me a picture. There've been multiple pictures like this that you've sent me with people.
Like, I can't see the difference. Unironically being like, you can't tell.
There's no difference. You know
can
what?
Put that,
I think
tweet up on the screen so people can see.
Yes. And I'll put another one as well of Billy as well in one of the other pictures. There's no difference whatsoever from the original or even from the remaster. The remaster looks
for $20 more.
The remaster looks better. For some reason, got an 88 instead of a 95, what the original was.
I want to know who was that games journalist place that we covered that always tanked the PlayStation reviews?
The servitor thing.
Yeah.
I don't see them anymore, you know. I think they've definitely gone...
I'd love to see how this isn't worth the money. It's basically the same game from 2013. Why would you spend it? Yeah.
So here's the thing. I put it out on Twitter, and I'm not flaming anyone. This is not like I'm not out for blood or anything like that. This is just conversation for conversation purposes, right?
Yeah.
People's immediate reaction was price. And I was like, look, when you're reviewing a video game, when you're reviewing art, which is what video games are, the price isn't the part of the equation. Price is something that you mention, and people decide whether or not for themselves that art is worth that price. That's why art goes for ridiculous prices. You think the Mona Lisa is worth millions of dollars? It's a fucking piece of tapestry with some paint slapped on it.
Yeah.
It's not worth that, but to artists, it's worth that.
Yeah.
That's what art is, and that's what video games are. They're art. It's what you determine the price to be. If you say Last of Us Remake, Last of Us Part 1 isn't worth $70, that's your choice. That's your choice. You don't get to put that on other people. That's for them to decide. Because, for example, someone said, The Last of Us Remaster wasn't a full price game when it came out. So therefore, the 95 is justified.
Right.
And the Last of Us Part 1 is lower because it's $70. We're like, so then the original game that was full price, should that be a lower one as well? Because the remaster wasn't full price.
Right.
But the original, why are those two the same and this one isn't? The original was 95, the remaster was 95, this should be 95. Unless for some reason they've botched it. But none of the reviews mention that they botched it. They say, it's been improved in certain areas. Some people...
In every way.
Exactly. Some people outright lie and they're like, it's just a graphics bump. It's not.
Not even close.
Naughty Dog have posted enough videos for us to see that it's not just a graphics bump.
And I also feel like at this point, I'm now vindicated. I had always said that the first game is a great story, but there's not much game to play there. There's 4 enemy types and 2 ways to deal with combat. Either you shoot stuff or you throw a brick in its face, which the idea that there's a debate about the brick versus the bottle still cracks me up. You throw a brick in its face and you shank it or shoot it, right? That is the way you play the game. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
And there's clearly been a massive upgrade to the way in which you sort of deal with the game.
Yeah.
That's obviously a very simplistic version of it. And people are like, no, we're talking about the combat. It's so immersive. No, it's not.
What bugs me the most is that I understood when people got their outrage in the beginning. They were like, rebuilt from the ground up, and they said all these different changes. They were like, obviously, graphics scene changes. There's going to be haptic stuff like that, gameplay changes. And then when people heard gameplay changes, they were like, it's The Last of Us Part 2.
Right.
They're like, we're going to be crawling under cars. We're going to be doing this. And then when they didn't see crawling under cars, they were like, well, they've done nothing.
Right.
And I was like, that's not the only thing in the world to change.
Yeah, I mean, just...
And then we was like, I understood people's rage from the beginning. I was like, okay, if they haven't done anything, then all right, I see what you're trying to say. But then they came out and they showed stuff. Like, recently I showed that clip and I posted it online where, like, now when you throw a bomb at a bunch of, like, clickers, a bunch of bloaters, whatever you're throwing it at, they disintegrate into pieces, and some of them even half zombies come crawling on the ground, which wasn't a thing in the first game.
No.
Gameplay changes. You've seen it. Why are you still sticking to your guns that Naughty Dog have done nothing and this is a cash grab? Why are you persisting to make yourself look like an idiot? I don't understand this need to make yourself look stupid. I don't get it. And that's what's bothering me more than anything else. And I kept quiet when it came to these issues they brought up. I was like, we haven't seen a great deal, so I'm gonna stay quiet. I'm not gonna say anyone's right or wrong. I'm just gonna sit back. And thankfully I did, because now I can sit back and say you're all fucking idiots for saying anything wrong, because it's clear as day that they've put a huge amount of effort into this, and it looks fantastic. It still may not be worth your $70. You still may turn around and go, my $70, I'd rather put inside a brand new experience.
Yeah, fair enough.
No way in hell am I going to try to say no. That's your choice. But don't sit there and tell me what I believe my $70 is worth, okay?
It's so bizarre. And I don't understand why no one else does this. But, like, you and I sit here. Elden Ring's a perfect example. I didn't enjoy it. Think it's worth the money. No one goes, might not be your cup of tea, but it's good. It's not my cup of tea, but it's good. I didn't like Sifu. I didn't like Elden Ring. I didn't like Death Stranding.
Stray's not tickling your fancy?
Huh?
Stray is not tickling your fancy?
Yeah, not for me. They're good. They're still good. They're still great games.
Yet, so for some
It's
reason,
just not for me.
When it comes to The Last of Us, people are incapable of doing that.
I don't get why no one can do this.
I don't get it either.
I don't understand it.
It's a bunch of manufactured hate. A bunch of manufactured controversy that holds no weight, and that's what pisses me off the most, because I just see it and I'm like, you're hanging from the weakest of threads, some threads that I could easily destroy, and I don't, and that's, and I, oh god, you can't argue with an idiot. That's what it
is these people have nothing to say.
Yeah.
So unless they find something to be angry about, they just have to sit there in silence and remember that no one cares what they have to say.
Yeah.
So unless they have a reason to like shout into the storm of reasonable thought,
Yeah.
so they go looking for one.
Oh, it's just a graphical upgrade. They're ripping you off. It's a cash grab.
And then you look at what's been done. It's clearly not a cash grab.
Yeah.
Because it's the worst cash grab I've ever seen, if it is one.
Right, you guys over-delivered. You do understand what cash grab means, right? You did it
You
wrong.
built it from the game up. You kept all the core stuff that people loved the same.
Yeah.
You upgraded the combat. You upgraded the graphics. You upgraded the visual fidelity, the FPS rate. You upgraded the modeling. You upgraded the like.
Bro, dumb things that you probably wouldn't even care about. So in the original Last of Us, you couldn't. I saw this clip from Digital Foundry.
Yeah.
If you got like a pipe or a bat or something like that, hitting a car does absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Doesn't do anything.
Yeah. It just goes dunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in fact, it doesn't even do that. It just swings and it just goes as if like you didn't hit anything, as if you're not even hitting anything.
I thought it hit. I thought it went.
Well, I saw the video
animation
and it just
halfway.
goes.
Oh.
That's how simplistic the original Last of Us was.
Oh,
right?
the original, like the.
I think they didn't change
2013.
that kind of stuff for the remaster as
I
well.
thought they did, but maybe
This is the video
yeah.
I saw, so
Sure,
I'm
sure,
just
sure.
going to go by that.
Yeah.
And in the remake, it's an animation. It's a proper thing. Like you hit the car, and it's not like you hit the car and then the glass breaks. It's a smash the glass and pull back type thing. It's a whole new thing they've built specifically for this one moment that you're barely going to use. There's not times where you're breaking into cars, stealing loot or anything like that.
It's not a thing.
They've made this whole thing for the game that wasn't there before. Pointless almost.
Cash grab.
Cash grab, that's what it is right there. I don't get how people can say this stuff and with a straight face and look like an idiot and knowing they're looking like an idiot and go, I am an idiot.
Like,
I don't know how people can do it. I'm so befuddled. It's crazy.
I was just scrolling through my Twitter timeline. I came to that exact tweet that I sent you, and I'm looking at it now, and they're like, "Oh, I don't see the difference." Like, it's mind-boggling to me how people can say that. In comparison, there's a PS4 Pro running The Last of Us remaster,
Yeah.
versus a PS5 running The Last of Us Part 1 remake. In comparison, the PS4 Pro might as well be a PS2.
Yes.
Like, the lighting's that bad, the facial recognition's that bad. Like, it's not... Don't get me wrong, it looked good at the time.
Definitely. And look, it
still doesn't look bad.
It's not like you're going to not have fun with the PS4 Pro version, right? Not like you're like, well, I can't play the PS4 Pro version.
This specific scene where it's a black dude he's sort of in shadow looking through a door. It looks like a reinforced door, something like that. You could, I think, take this and go game, and then instead of on the right where it says PS5, it could say fan film.
This is what when I was in the Digital Foundry video, yeah. And do you know how you know that light that's really like harsh on his face? Do you know what that light is? That's actually the light in his hand bleeding over the geometry and lighting the scene. And I guess that's sort of like a cheap technique that they used to try and get lighting in that situation. Otherwise, it would have been too dark.
Yeah.
Whereas in the other one, look at how realistic it is.
That light's perfect. Also, it looks like a human being's behind that door.
Exactly.
The other one, it looks like a game character's behind the door. Do you know what I mean? Like, it boggles my mind that anybody would... I don't expect people to pay full price if it's just this visual update, but this alone probably is actually worth it.
Yeah.
To go from very clearly a video game to, in this case at least, almost like a CG movie.
It's crazy how much it's gone up. Anyway, the thing that with the review scores, do you know the two things that really highlights for me that's really kind of upsetting? One, obviously games journalists, proven we can't trust them.
Yes.
It should have been identical. It was identical before.
Yep.
But it shows that now we there's this immense distrust and it's warranted.
The game's better now.
Exactly. I wasn't asking for it to be more than 95. But really, if we're thinking about it, the improvements equal more.
Yeah.
It should have been more. But I wasn't asking for
They
it.
gave us the same game as before.
Yeah.
The same all the things that made it great. The story. That's the exact same.
Yeah.
And now it looks better. The gameplay's better. They've improved things like hitting the car. You blow something up and it crawls to you. It's It's now better. But we can give it the 95. That's what the game's worth. Okay. I'm with you. Ridiculous. It's stupid.
And the fact that it's lower now just proves that how disingenuous it is and how much distrust we have for them and how warranted that is. And then the second thing that it proves to me is how we can't have fun in games anymore. Like how poisonous and how toxic it's become, the conversation about games now, that we just can't enjoy things. Like this should have been a moment where it's like people who love this game and people who want to go back to it, who love who have fond memories of it and want to have an even better version of it in their head, can't enjoy it because it's not allowed. It's just not allowed to be loved anymore.
It's a cash grab. They're just selling you the same product over and over again.
Yeah, because Apple doesn't do that every year. Samsung doesn't do that every year, but we're allowed to enjoy our phones.
I was going to say, where cash grabs actually happen, people don't call them out as much as The Last of Us is being called out.
Yep.
And this is genuine passion that's been put into it. It's a great way to indicate, like, you know, how bad it's become in gaming now, how bad it's become just to even enjoy a video game.
It really is frustrating that you can't just enjoy things, you know? Like, and that's why I thought Stray was so good. Like, again, it's not for me, but one of the reasons I think it's so good is it is just there for you to enjoy it. That's its only purpose.
Yeah.
It's not difficult. There's no difficulty settings. It's just there for you to mill about as a cat, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's its purpose. That's what gaming's supposed to be.
Supposed to.
And I don't get why we're not allowed that anymore. Yeah. Why all of it has to be... Look, I understand it's a giant business. It's the biggest entertainment business out there, right? But I'm not looking at it as the business. I'm looking at it as a consumer of the media. And I want to just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're just repackaging. So,
But I enjoy it. I like it. I want it.
they're just repackaging, bro. It's a cash grab. It's a cash grab.
There's a little thing that they did as well that seems little, but it's actually probably really difficult to do. In the original game, all of the cutscenes were actually video clips. They weren't rendered on the console,
Right.
Because the console didn't have any power back
Yeah.
then. So it was video clips, and you'd know that because, like, if you had a bat, for example, that bat wouldn't be in the
Yeah,
in
it
the
would
scene.
disappear, yeah.
And it was low resolution, and it was like low texture quality because they were trying to match it, and also it was built in the same sort of engine, but it was still a video clip at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And the way that they would transition between the video clip and the thing, cut to black.
Yeah, it would fade to black, and and then the models would walk in. Yeah.
Exactly, and the model would be sometimes it would be in like a janky position, like it would just be appeared in a hallway, and then you just continue over.
Yeah.
But that was the technology of the time, and that's how it was. We can't fault them for that. Now, they've had to redo all of those scenes. They've had to put it into like a real-time engine, play them in the game, which actually wasn't done before. So they're making those cutscenes in the game, in the engine, and placing it in the game. And then now it's a gradual. The camera pans out, and then you're like, if in the scene, for example, you're hiding behind a door, that's where you start. And it's such a small thing, but they've had to build it all again.
Yeah.
And it's like, no.
Yeah, that means it's just a graphical update. Well, no, they've gutted the whole thing to the point of they started again.
Right. Like, this thing didn't even exist before.
Yeah, they've followed the same map. It's the same recipe, but they've started with scratch.
Exactly. So many things,
It's just frustrating. And like you say, you're not allowed to enjoy things anymore. And that's why I'm at a point where I no longer look at, like, Metacritic scores or
it's a very outdated way of looking at things.
like, because I don't trust people. And first of all, I don't trust journalists, but I also don't trust like Xbox or anyone to not go and review bomb a game because they didn't get it or they didn't like it or their version of it was late.
I can't wait to see the user scores when it goes live for this game. It's going to be absolutely crazy.
Yeah,
it's going to be crazy. Anyway, it's coming out tomorrow. I will be streaming it. If you're a patron, you can see that. You'll see this message now. If not, then maybe possibly I might. What do you think we should do, by the way? I was thinking about possibly posting the game, the gameplay, the me playing the game somewhere. But I don't know. Do you think it would fit on the channel? If I was to like edit out the talking bits and just the gameplay part?
I don't know. Well, I thought you were going to do the first hour of it anyway, like because we'd record.
I'm going to play the whole thing myself, but I'll do the first hour.
Yeah, well, because we've been
post
posting
just the gameplay.
Yeah, the first hour in 4K and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. You'd do it.
Yeah.
See what happens. So, like, you know, what we could do is do a little thing at the beginning. Say, look, this is us on Twitch. Do you know what? Just post can you record the whole Twitch thing?
Yeah.
Just do it and say we stream on Twitch. Because some people on YouTube don't know that we have a Twitch.
Because I was going to say, Chris was saying that he can't make it for the stream, and I was like, it'll be available VOD on the Twitch page, but then it does expire after a while and it disappears. So maybe it's good to back it up.
Yeah, we can always put it up, and if like 3 people watch it, we'll just get rid of it.
Yeah. All right, let's do that then. I'll put that up there. So if you guys do miss the stream, you guys can see it. My heart actually hurts every time I think about the beginning of the game, and the closer we get, the more it hurts.
And one of those things was originally, and even in the remaster, very clearly games characters.
Yes. They've made it even more realistic.
What'll be interesting to see is how they do it in the show.
Yes.
And they better not cut that. Do you know what I mean? Like, we need...
Neil Druckmann's there. He's whipping them into shape. You better do what they better do what they say.
We will see, but yeah, I'm interested to see you play it. I was saying before we started rolling the cameras, you should get Isla on your lap, bounce on your knee while you're playing the game. So it can it can be like, watch me play 20 minutes of The Last of Us and then cry for 5 hours with my daughter.
You just want me to cry, don't you? That's what you want me to do.
Yes, on camera.
Okay, next topic. More PlayStation games are being turned into movies, guys. Get hyped.
Yay!
So
this is what we want. This is what we need. This is what we've been asking for.
So we got the news that there is a Horizon TV show in the works, but it wasn't an official announcement. It was a Canadian. It's like a law in Canada. When you're applying for like a grant, you have to make all of the cast members known to this one public board, and then they leak the fact that it's available and more stuff like that, and people found out that way. Anyway, they've got a director now. The director from Umbrella Academy is apparently going to be doing it.
Sick.
I'm mixed on Umbrella Academy. I think it's very well shot.
People have been literally tweeting me whenever they remember anyway to watch it. So I have no feelings on Umbrella Academy.
I think it's well shot. It's an oddly written show. It's just like crazy mind loopiness.
Yeah.
And you're like, was this person on acid? What's going on? But I watched it and I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. Anyway, the last season of Umbrella Academy is just wrapped apparently, so now they're gonna be moving over there. And the director and the writer for the show posted on Twitter that they got a collector's edition with the Tremor Tusk in it, so that's quite cool. And they seem pretty excited about it.
We know a little bit about the show as well, that it's set in like 2040 or something.
74.
Yeah, something like that. Definitely not 2077.
We want to avoid that.
And it's like just before the Pharaoh Plague, or it goes on while that's happening. So cool, I guess.
We'll see.
We will see, but it's a show no one asked for.
Just like a lot of this stuff.
It's a weird one, isn't it?
Yes. I'm going to quickly get the name of this person for the next one.
Don't know ourselves, pretend that we're not wasting time here. This definitely isn't dead air. Are there any other like new titles that I haven't heard of, like something that was released recently that they're making?
So not released recently, but this is a brand new announcement that came out. So PlayStation are apparently making a Days Gone movie.
Right. Game wasn't good enough to make a second game.
Right. We didn't like the game. We didn't like the sequel. But we're gonna make a movie of it. And to make things worse,
oh god, yeah, I know about this.
The lead actor they're apparently going for to play Deacon St. John is Sam Hugan. Apparently he's the lead actor from Outlanders. Apparently he's very good.
But they had Sam Witwer. And Witwer, who played Deacon. Voiced him. In his own right, a live action, TV actor.
He's a Hollywood actor.
Like, and not like Ashley Johnson, for example, or Troy Baker's a perfect example. Troy Baker is a voice actor.
He's a voice actor. Phenomenal. Absolutely amazing.
As a voice actor.
But it's different to be on camera.
Witwer has done umpteen voice acting roles and killed them.
Yeah.
And is on TV. He's a Hollywood actor. He's on TV. He's in movies.
He's
in
an
actor.
Countless seasons of Smallville.
He's
the best
actor.
TV show ever.
That's enough cachet.
And he's a Hollywood movie star. This is his thing. So why did they
He's literally the guy.
The model is based off of his face.
He's the guy.
Why then do you go get someone else?
He's the guy. He's the guy.
Utterly befuddled. I don't understand any of this.
He's the guy. The model looks like him. It's voiced by him, and he can act. Oh, and he did all of the mocap acting for it. He is literally the guy.
Insane.
This is like, imagine you made a video game where you play as Ewan McGregor acting. And then they make a movie about the video game, but they don't cast Ewan McGregor. That's all they did. It's literally the same.
It makes me think about the conversation we had about Kratos and the Kratos TV show, the God of War TV shows coming out. We're like, who would play Kratos? Man, Christopher Judge has done such a good job with the voice and bringing the character to life. Yeah. It'd be so cool to have him. Yeah. But then the people are like, well, he's not Greek. He's not because he's supposed to be a Spartan, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And we've thought about our workarounds.
I bent over backwards to get him there.
But at least there's pros and cons, and there's people on either side and reasons for it.
It's kind of an obvious issue before he gets the ash.
Right.
As to he sticks out a bit.
Right. But this is everything. There is not one single thing you can think of why Sam Witwer shouldn't be cast for this role. And you don't do it. What the fuck? And then people are like, well, why are you guys so... Why? No one said this, to be honest, but people are... I'm sure the CEO executives are like, why are people so against TV shows and movies? It's because the most easiest part you throw away in the trash. This was handed to you on a plate.
It's literally the guy, and if
he brought the character to life.
And also, the worst thing is you listen to him discussing his other roles, like when he talks about playing Maul and about the final duel and stuff with Obi-Wan.
Starkill, all that lot.
Yeah, he really gets these characters, and I just went on his IMDb really quick to sort of get a feel for how much acting he's actually done.
Yeah,
and it's a lot. Now, it's in shows there's a bunch of stuff in Supergirl and stuff, where he has his appearances, but it's a lot. it's a lot. He's had a lot of time in front of cameras, and he has a lot of time acting, and he knows that he is this character. He brought the character to life. He acted what?
He played Maul in Solo?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I just looked now. I didn't know that he was Maul in Solo.
Wait, was he in Solo? I thought that was Ray Park came back
Well,
for that.
I'm confused then, because that's what it says here on IMDb. I don't know. Maybe they're drawing conclusions. I don't know what's going on here.
No, you're right.
That's
You're
what
right.
it says there, right?
Yeah, he was Maul.
Fucking, you see what I mean? He's a Hollywood actor.
Right.
He's been on TV shows, many of them. He's been in movies. He has
crucially, this is his role.
his role.
He
his
brought the character to life. He literally, all he has to do is what he's already done, which was fantastic.
That's like going, you know what? Christopher Reeves.
Right.
He did Superman. And for some reason we've made a video game of him as well. And he's also come to do the voicing for the video game. There's a TV show. He's willing to do it, but we won't take him. We'll just go somewhere else with you, you know? It's like, well, hold on a second.
Why would you do this? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. It's ridiculous. And also, it's not like they can't afford him.
No.
They afforded him before. He was afforded.
And it's not like he's going to be like, you know what? Not a fan of working anymore. Not a fan of working anymore, you know?
There's no way he doesn't want to work. I'm looking at his IMDb, and you can just keep scrolling and keep scrolling and keep scrolling.
And he's so lovable. He's such a great guy. Like, no one hates Sam Witwer.
I didn't know he was in BSG. He's in Battlestar Galactica.
Is he? Ooh.
Yeah, boy. Standard. Like, he was in Bones.
There's a lot
He was
of
in
Star Wars in this.
Dexter.
Oh, yeah, he was in Dexter. Yeah.
Just like a bunch of Smallville episodes. The Walking Dead. Like, you can't say he can't act. You can't say he can't voice act. You can't say he doesn't know the character. The character's literally based on him. What? It doesn't make sense.
Insanity.
It's sort of like if you did... do you know what? It's just dumb. This is stupid.
Dumb.
This is the Amber Heard making arguments of dumb.
Oh, from the guy that convinced the world he had scissors for hands.
Shut up. Shut up.
That's so insane. All right. Well, that's all of our topics for today.
Yeah.
Let's read a few more comments that we've got over on our Discord server. I'll finish off Jeff Shrim's comment. He goes, also, just finished God of War 2018 for the first time. Ooh, okay.
Gaming.
Interesting game. They do a lot to make Odin and Thor seem like dickheads. It's unlikely either of them will be as interesting or good as that, or as memorable as Boulder. Unfortunately, also, we can't even really kill Thor because prophecies and stuff. Game Informer combat from Ragnarok looks okay. Not enough to make any definitive claims, though. Are you high on your shrooms, Jeff Shrooms? That gameplay, there was one bit, and I posted the clip of it, where he throws his axe at an enemy.
Oh, yeah.
He gets iced up. He kicks him off the ledge, and his axe goes with him. He jumps off of the ledge, recalls the axe, and then slams it down. I was like, oh!
I will say, the full circle on that prophecy, because you finished the game so you know who all the characters actually are, there's your tie-in. The other thing is, he said, the games do a lot to make Thor and Odin look like dicks. If you look into the real history,
Yes.
kind of cunty.
They are. You're
All-
thinking of
all of them
MCU. MCU's obviously changed them to make them more lovable because it's a Marvel
MCU
character.
Thor and Odin, pretty nice guys.
You know how MCU Thor started? Like, I don't give a shit about anyone.
like
That's
fancy, yeah.
Thor, and they changed him to make him more likable and
Oh,
whatnot.
that's Thor light.
Exactly.
Like, what the game does justice to is the original three, the way they make the Olympiad look. So, like Zeus, you know how like the Minotaur and all that stuff come to exist? Zeus be raping a bunch of bitches. Like something moves and Zeus is like, I'm gonna stick my dick in it. That's how this stuff comes to be. It's like dicks and gods in most religions are kind of douchey.
Yeah.
Because
It's
they have
power,
like,
isn't it? It's what happens.
right. Odin and Thor in particular, also like Marvel's Loki. quirky, funny, plays pranks.
Yeah.
Loki, no, not so much the pranks, more so much the chaos.
Yes. And another thing you also need to think of as well is that Norse mythology itself isn't 100% definitive lockdown. We have one script that we follow.
Right.
It's very much up for debate how all of this shit is happening. There's a lot of like, we agree on this part. But there's a lot of like, I think this went down a little bit of a different way. And also all of it's cracked up. So you have to put that in mind as well.
I'll give you an example. Loki in the MCU
Yeah.
will shapeshift to look like somebody and give somebody a conflicting order.
Yeah.
I don't want my lunch at 2. No, I'm not hungry. No lunch. Only bring me dinner, and I'll have it in the West Wing or something, right?
Yeah.
And then the guy gets in trouble because he didn't bring his lunch, but he was told. Loki in mythology turns up as a village, shapeshifts into one of the guys, impregnates somebody, or gets impregnated usually, and then murders everybody wearing somebody's face. Ha ha ha! Isn't this funny and quirky? That's Loki.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And Odin, one of the stories, or you get a little spoiler alert to some of my videos that are coming up. Odin's super fucking paranoid about Ragnarok, and he is killing gods and legends and everyone of importance just so he can stop Ragnarok from happening, or to get all the information that he can, all the magic that he can to try and do it.
Odin's a real paranoid guy. Odin's so paranoid, he unalived himself so no one else could do it, so that he could get information on what it's like on the other side, and then came back.
Right. Like he I think it was like he killed himself so he can get to like the world tree on the other side, and he spent so much time that the world tree spat him fucking back out.
Yeah, they were like, you're not allowed to gather this kind of information. This isn't even meant for your types.
Exactly.
You know, this is like the matrix code of the universe. Get out of here.
Right.
So I think one of his names is like the Hanged One or something,
Yeah.
because he spent like 21 days hung
From the world
while he was trying to get stuff, and the price to get there was an eye. That's why he has the eye patch. It's like this isn't normal stuff.
Yeah.
This isn't MCU level Marvel, goes. I'm not beefing you out here, Jeff Shrooms. I'm just sort of saying that people would think they're like, oh yeah, I've seen the Avengers. I know about Thor and Loki. No, you don't, bruv.
There you go. Building off of actually, let's read BS Bro 2. BS Bro wrote and he said, those 4 seconds of the new God of War game got me even more hyped. It's all I want in life, and then I can die happy. Bro, I'm right there with you, man. Right there with you. He says also the new Saints Row is painful to watch. I feel bad for the guys who pre-ordered it because they were dumb and thought it was gonna be a good game. The first introduction to the gang is them talking about how they can't afford rent and student loans and something about waffles. Man, that sounds really painful.
Did you see James tweeted out a clip, and it reminded me of that one death scene from that Turkish movie?
I think it's supposed to be a joke on that.
I think that's what it is. Obviously, James didn't know it. I found it hilarious.
I found it hilarious as well.
But because I know that death scene in
Yeah.
it. Because the guy's the kid. Oh, that's so stupid. So that made it kind of endearing, but I've seen so much of it where it's not that.
Yeah.
Where it's just bad. He also tweeted another glitch that happened where I was coming into a cutscene and everybody but the MC's heads just disappeared. They're just not rendering in. So you've got like these empty suits walking around and stuff. It was weird.
Reminds me of was it Assassin's Creed? Was it Unity or one of the ones where the faces disappeared and it was just the teeth and the eyes? It was
terrible.
Like,
That's terrible.
And he goes, so to go out and rob a bank, oh my god, it's so relatable. The streamer that I watched was literally dying inside. Like, who is this game made for? No one acts like this. No one talks like that. This actually highlights a problem, and I think it's a problem that GTA 6 might suffer from.
Yeah.
So they were trying to make it relatable to like Gen Z people.
Right.
Not really people. They're Gen Z. No
Zoomers.
offense. Gen Zers are a Twitter profile. That's all they are.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, they're a Twitter profile and a TikTok page. That's all they are.
Yeah.
Okay? They don't have any personality. They're just whatever's fed
It's
to
true.
them.
There's nothing there, yeah. It's a blank slate and it's all cringe.
Exactly. And these guys tried to... They were like, well, we can't do the stuff that normal normal Saints Row does, because it was always like edgy humor, and it was always like playing into the fact that it's crazy and the world is mad and no one would actually do this, but we're doing it because it's a video game.
Yeah.
So they played into the memes and the cringe of the world, thinking that they're gonna get something out of it, but really what they did was just make a super cringe game.
Right.
And I'm worried GTA might fall down the same rabbit hole. They're like, we don't want to punch down, they say, to like all these jokes that we made before, all these highlighted crap that went on in the world.
All the things that made it believable, realistic.
Well, this is the thing. It was shining a light on the shit that goes on in the world to show us that this is dumb, bruv.
And
this is
this
bad.
happens and it's stupid and it shouldn't be happening.
Exactly. But play it in this video game so you can see how terrible it can get, so you don't do this in real life.
Right. You can experience all the bad things in a way that we make, safe for you. We can highlight the stupidity of the thing, because in the moment, the reason these things happen in the moment is because those people in those situations, it seems reasonable from all of the stuff. You highlight it in certain ways and you say, here's the thing that goes on. Look how stupid it is when you view it as an outsider.
Yes, exactly.
And
I'm worried that they're now going to unfortunately fall into the Saints Row trap. And I mean, Saints Row was a cheaper, crappier knockoff of GTA anyway. So
now I hear what you're
if
saying.
they fall in the same trap.
However, bigot, how dare you?
Sorry, my apologies.
She-Hulk is a masterpiece.
I mean,
And her twerking in a CEO's office that's a thing that apparently happened in the last episode.
that actually happened.
Is totally okay. It's funny. I was talking to my chick about this because she was saying, She-Hulk, I've heard it's really bad. She doesn't know anything. She doesn't keep her ear to the ground like we do. And I said, yeah, it does. And the reason is this. They tried to write a strong female character, but none of the writers believe they exist. So what they did is they dragged down other characters and just tried to make things relevant to like people, and instead it's not relevant to anyone. But we had recently, probably in the last few months, we recently finished Suits.
Yes.
And Suits is chock full of strong female characters that are totally believable because they're just great characters. You got Jessica that runs the law firm, who's like this incredible leader, and then the other female characters are stacked within layers in the show. You got Donna, who is one of the main guy's secretary. Without her, basically the law firm falls apart. She's like the cement to the entire firm, and this highfalutin gunslinging lawyer can't function without this chick. There's a whole half a season dedicated to she leaves and goes to somebody else's desk for some reason, and his whole business starts to fall apart because it relies on this one person, even though like technically he's in a position of power on her. He's entirely dependent on her. Who's the chick that married Prince Harry? Meghan Markle.
Meghan Markle.
Her character in it is this like
She's in Suits?
Yeah, she is, and she's actually quite good.
Okay.
She plays this character who's a paralegal, so basically she's like a law secretary in a sense, where like the lawyers need stuff. She's not a lawyer, hasn't passed the bar, but knows a bunch of legal stuff. And so she works there and helps the lawyers do stuff. And she is like incredibly talented, incredibly strong. And like all of these characters fit and make sense because they're just worried about making great characters, and not one of them has to drag any other character down to make them look good.
Yeah.
They're real strong female characters, which is why in a weird way, they're never brought up because they're just so believable.
Yeah.
Because they're so well written that they just exist. And in this, She-Hulk has to tear down Hulk, and they have to make him look stupid to make her look relevant.
Yeah.
Like, this is why it doesn't work. Just write good characters and it won't matter what their gender is.
Yeah.
No one cares what's between your legs or what your preference for what's between other legs is. Make a great character, and like Raymond Holt, if he's gay, it doesn't matter. He just is. It doesn't matter that Raymond Holt's black except for the times when it's specifically relevant to the story. It doesn't matter that he's gay except for the times when it's specifically relevant to the story. He's just one of the best characters ever written. Like Terry Crews, obviously is a black guy. You don't think of Terry Crews as a black guy. You think Terry Crews, I love that guy.
Yeah, he's a great character.
And then, unless it's
great actor.
right, like just write good characters. It doesn't. The rest of the stuff doesn't matter. Amy Santiago, if you want to tick the boxes, female and Latino and whatever, right? Like, or just great freaking character who's hilarious and really well acted. And then when it's specifically relevant, you can bring up.
There's a reason why that show is one of the best TV shows
So
ever.
funny.
This is why. I was just
sorry
checking
to
out
get on a rant, but
No,
like
no.
games do this as well, and I worry about GTA. The point of GTA is Vice City is basically Scarface.
Yes, that was the big appeal to it. Yeah.
But like, they're not going to do that game because it's punching down to Latino stereotypes. Well, now you don't get one of the greatest movies and one of the greatest GTAs ever made. Right? Right? Like, what are we supposed to do? Great stories generally have strife and adversity.
Yeah.
And there's not much of that if you're like Donald Trump.
There's a lot of really weak people nowadays who can't unfortunately take anything.
People that wouldn't have survived Xbox Live lobbies, you know?
People who are just Twitter pages and TikToks. That's what they are.
You're right. Sorry to get ranty there, but...
No. A little thing I just wanted to say. This just popped in right now. Everyone's reporting on this rumor. Apparently there's a whole set. All of the Metal Gear Solid games are getting remastered and apparently going to be revealed at TGS this year by Konami. It's quite cool. I've only played some of the Metal Gear games, but I hear it's fantastic. I do like the Sons of Liberty that I played, and I'm all for it. But hopefully that means another Metal Gear Solid coming soon.
Fingers crossed it's better than the GTA remakes, remasters, whatever they were, and that they maybe managed to cut down that hour and 40-minute cutscene.
I would leave it just as it is. I prefer to watch my movies.
If they change it, then it will be an obvious cash grab.
Obvious cash grab.
This is ridiculous as well. You're going to have to make a full CG movie within your game. Stupid. Why is he smoking? Seriously, what is Hideo on?
I want to know how they greenlit it as well. Just clearly nobody was watching, and they just went.
They were like, Hideo, you've made two of these before. Just make it. Okay, sweet.
No problem.
I've always wanted to direct a movie here.
Going back to Diogo's question that he asked about is there a game that you initially thought was shit, but then was better?
Yeah.
Tailgate replies to it saying, that used to be me when it came to Fortnite. Before my Discord friends converted me, I used to think it was just some cringy kids game. It is just some cringy.
Yes, it is. Yeah, that's right.
With terrible YouTube community, it is with a terrible.
That's
YouTube
what it is.
But then I realized I didn't actually hate the game. I actually hated the YouTubers and streamers who played the game. People like Ali A and Fortnite Ninja, Blevins, and all of those. It's true. Maybe it is those guys that give it a bad rap as well. And after watching one of my friends stream the Operation Skyfire Chapter 2 at the end events, I got converted. The game is actually really fun. I find the story and the 7 and the imagined order enjoyable also because it's basically Saturday morning cartoons, and now it's become one of my most often played games with my friends on Xbox.
What, Fortnite?
Yeah. You know what? When I played for the Superman skin,
yeah,
I did sort of put all of the cringeness out of my mind, and I was like,
the thing that's really kind of cringe about Fortnite is just how many deals they'll do with everyone. So like, there's Naruto skins, there's Dragon Ball Z skins, Superman, Marvel. On the other hand, it keeps things relevant. And one of the things that I like about Fortnite, well, now especially that they took the builds out,
yes,
or at least made it a different mode, is that they are constantly either redoing the map or doing these massive events, and that's cool. It's not like Warzone or whatever. That's a bad example. Like early on, these games were like, here's a map, there you go, and then they just left you.
Yeah.
And maybe they fix some stuff or borrow a new gun here or there. With Fortnite, they're bringing out new guns, they take stuff out, put it back in.
Massive map altering events.
Yeah,
and
there's
stuff
like an
that.
asteroid will hit somewhere and take out this one. Like Tilted Towers is constantly getting taken out and put back in for various reasons.
Yeah.
So
one time there was an alien invasion, where like
you had you could pilot UFOs around.
Yeah, you would get taken by aliens away, and then there was like a mini game within the game, and then you get to come back or you die. It was quite interesting.
Like, I like that they mess with that stuff a lot.
Yeah,
and that it is constantly going to change. Also, it is like an FPS, a shooting game.
Yeah. So
like, I have it on my PlayStation. I haven't booted it up in literally like 2 years or something, but I have it. So, you know, I dig it. And one of the things that bugs me about Apex, as we're talking about this, is it's more static in the sense that they have basically there's 4 maps. Every season they just get rid of one, and so you only get 3 in the rotation, and one is the favorite for that season for some reason.
Right.
And then every 2 or 3 months they bring out a new legend, and that's basically it, right? Like, I want some new guns. I want the maps to change a little bit. So like you have these standard maps. There'll be like a refinery on one. Have that blow up for a season, you know, or something. Have the map change a little bit, so that, you know, it's still the map that I love and want to play on, but it looks different. It's different to what I'm used to. And then the next season, you know, it's back, but like this section by the cliffs just earthquake and it fell off somewhere, so now that bit doesn't exist, but there's tunnels, sorry boys, through there up in somewhere else in a little underground base or something.
A little bit of variety, a little bit to
yeah, and that's what Fortnite does all the time.
Yeah.
It is a bit ridiculous though. Like there's a lot of stuff going on in Fortnite, and I will say I think you're better off playing it on PC because you got 5 things in your inventory and stuff to mess around with, whereas with Apex you carry 2 guns.
I could not recommend that. Unfortunately. You making outlandish recommendations to our gamers here. This is the True Gamer podcast.
Forgive me.
Exactly. We played Fall Guys and Among Us the other day on stream.
2 bangers.
And
bangers.
Geek Fam, one of the guys in the chat, joined us, and he was playing on PC.
Right.
And we're going back and forth. Just flaming each other on like our
Right.
I don't know, man. I mean, like it says right here, press square button. Where's your square button?
I love that. So
like, I don't have a square button. Aha, inferior.
Proof. Now don't you feel silly?
Oh, dumb stuff like that.
That's funny.
And the final thing, I am going to read out Diogo's Sonic Frontiers thing.
Okay, cool.
That's just what happened. That's what just happened with my thoughts on Sonic Frontiers. Given the footage from Gamescom open demo and people's positive opinion on it, who's got a positive opinion on Sonic Frontiers?
Yeah, what the frick is wrong with you?
You found like one person. You're like, this is everyone's opinion, guys. This is it.
Right.
The gameplay and the gameplay loop looks better than what we got in the footage from people knowing what's going on. But yes, there are still some issues which I hope get fixed before release. Mainly the pop-in, but it was less noticeable here. But yeah, just curious what's happened.
Use your words.
But yeah, would be curious to see whether that's happened to you two before. So we mentioned what has happened to us before. The Sonic Frontiers thing, I really need to call you out on that. It looked awful. Don't get me wrong, the bits where he was on rails, the bits where he was in the... What's the name of the level for Sonic?
I don't know what you're talking about, blood.
It's like a really well-known name, but it's escaping me for some reason. The main level that you're probably shouting at the fucking screen right now. That one. They showed that bit, but in like a 3D space and it open world, except he's on a track. And I was like,
I know what you're talking about.
Great.
Yeah.
Like that floating road and whatnot. It looked great. But then the moment that he went open world, it just looked like he was running around in a circle. And I was like, that doesn't look fun at all. It looks shit. It's the open world part that's shit about this. The rest of it
don't just add open world stuff. That's our issue, isn't it?
That's the issue. Anyway. Bro.
Yes.
I'm not going to let you go, and I'm not going to let Runic Firebird have another...
I was going to wait for you to say that's in the show, and then I was going to say, Runic Firebird, get fricked.
I'm not going to give
just didn't do it.
another chance to flame you, so we're going to do it right now.
Okay,
guys,
so boys, look if you're new around
your
here.
favourite part, correcting Conbrosations. Go ahead.
Yeah, never once forgotten. My favourite part of the show, correcting Conbrosations. So if you are new, and you've made it this far, we sometimes say things on the internet that we've never like... pesky things like facts and information get in the way of a strongly held belief. So when we say something wrong, head down to the comment section, ideally timestamp it and say, at 15 minutes and 78 seconds when you said this was actually that. And then we'll read it out next week and credit you. And you get your comment read out and we get comments on our videos that help the engagement on YouTube thinks, oh, these guys are actually decent. We're going to trick them into thinking we have got some talent here. And then they maybe push our videos a little bit. Any corrections? I don't think so because our brain's so big.
YouTube's deciding to give...
sorry, Runic Firebird is not us as YouTube swear. Honest Scout's honor.
YouTube's deciding to ask me to verify myself.
Is that
for
because
some
I logged
reason.
into the channel the other day?
I don't know.
It never did that before either. It just used to let me log in.
And now it's like asking me to do all kinds of things and it won't let me look at the fucking...
Oh, yeah. It will let you
68.
click. It lets you log in, lets you click to analytics. It's like, oh, no. If you want to see that, you have to verify that you're you.
There you go. All right, I'm in it now. So this is from.
I'm going to try and log you out.
This is the last episode. You fucking. Okay, correcting Conbrosations from Mikey T.
Let's hear it, Mikey Tilly. What you got to say?
Sheps is
Goddamn.
absolutely spoofing at 27 minutes and 54 seconds when talking about Predator 2, saying it's set in New York. It's actually set in LA.
My bad.
Shocking. Carry on.
Frick. That's a good correction, right? Because I was just rambling. Didn't let facts and information get in the way of my opinion. But you're correct. Because I remember now. Because he's always in like a shirt. It's not, and we always think of LA as warm and New York is cold, right?
Correcting Conversations from Sean. He says, I actually have nothing to correct, but I would like to leave a comment to make the video look active for YouTube. P.S. I've been looking at Eddie's gym videos and damn, I won't say the rest of that.
Well, Sean, I appreciate
it's a comment on
the engagement. And I agree with you. I've also noticed the camera angle. A little bit sus. A little bit sus.
I just put it between my legs. I'm like, there you go.
It's the Dick Cam V2.
You guys wanted it. It's back. There you go, guys. Runic Firebird.
Oh, God.
Sheps.
Does it actually say that?
It says it 4 times. You keep trying to correct me about missed or forgotten segments, which is why I say missed or forgotten. I don't say that you forget every time. Merely suggest that it's possible you forgot or just missed it.
This freaking guy corrected me on my correction of him. Ah, fuck.
It's probably all that sleep you're missing out on. That's probably what it is.
It is not wrong.
Next correction. Sheps.
God damn it. God damn it.
You talked about the DS4 and the DS5. Now, here we go. You might have to correct him on this one. I'll say what he says correctly first of all. He says, the DualShock 4 exists, but the DualShock 5 does not exist. It's the DualSense controller for the PlayStation 5. If you look online, Sony does not add the 5 to the name because it's the first of its kind.
Correct.
The breaker of chains. No, it doesn't say that bit.
That's true.
And the way he spells it, though, he says DualShock 4 and DualShock 5.
What an idiot!
And then Duel, as in Duel and Ghost of Tsushima, Legends and everything like that. Instead of Duel, which is two.
DUAL.
So, correcting...
What a freaking idiot! Look at this stupid guy!
Correcting Runic Firebird.
Can you believe he'd make a mistake on the internet? And his is in print!
Exactly.
Shit!
Next correction. Sheps!
God damn it.
You said you wouldn't steal a car commercials on VHS and DVDs. It did not show on VHS tapes. It was only on DVDs. Fucking
what?
Idiot. Fucking idiot. I don't know if it was.
No.
I think it was only on DVDs because VHSs were too hard to copy. You need another VHS.
Yeah, that makes
and
a
also,
lot of sense.
was there a VHS recorder?
But I feel like the point was you wouldn't pirate, and most of the times in them days it was someone like recording the movie in the theater, like as a pirate.
I don't know.
That probably is true. I feel like CDs were very easy to rip, especially in the first few years.
He says that commercial aired in 2004 to 2007 in theaters and DVDs, and at that point VHS tapes were pretty much obsolete. Okay, maybe it was then.
In fairness, the whole point was not about the commercial, but that they don't know me. How do you think I consume all this anime?
And he says, and lastly, about the color versus color without the U, because I corrected him on that.
Right. There's no correction here. It's COLOUR,
exactly.
color.
Exactly. There he goes, I'm sorry, just like the alphabet.
Well, we accept your apology. And you're going to state that it ends in Z. Frickin' Runic Firebird.
He says, I'm sorry, just like the alphabet, I left U next to the T. We dumped it in the harbor back in the Revolution.
This freaking guy.
Wow. He said, take the L, motherfucker.
This freaking guy.
Diogo writes in, he says, correcting Conbrosations. Sheps.
God damn it.
And that Spider-Man... Sheps said that Spider-Man has been around for 40 years, when in fact he's been around since Sheps was born. That's right, folks. Spider-Man has been around since 1962, making him 60 years old. I know Sheps likes to think of himself as being younger,
Oh,
but
you
come
have a
on.
young buck.
I like this is that, but come on. Come on.
It's one of those things where, like, how long ago was the year 2000? Like,
Incalculable.
well, how long ago was 2018?
Oh,
Just last year, right?
so.
Just last year.
Just last year.
We just had it. 2018. We just finished 2019, right?
So we've just gone straight into it.
So forgive me if I missed just a couple of decades. I am sorry. Easily forgotten.
And that's all for that video. I need to go back now. We need to do the last one.
God.
So
No, I feel like that's enough.
only a few comments here. Don't worry.
I feel like that's enough. We don't need much more, you know?
Brian Ford writes in, he says, at 27 minutes and 5 seconds, Sheps, did you ever figure out what you was thinking of? I'm very curious now.
What was I thinking of?
Good question.
Well-
Correcting Conbrosations. 58 minutes and 30 seconds. You might have to go and find him. Brian Ford will try and find it and try and find you and see what he's thinking of. 58 minutes and 30 seconds. The Lords of the Fallen in the sequel is a sequel to Lords of the Fallen from 2014 and has been in some level of development since 2017. So not just chasing Elden Ring. Okay.
Sounds like fake news to me.
Fake news. All right, Runic Firebird, here we go.
Oh, God.
All right, correcting Conbrosations. Shep, since you mentioned it, I will stand down and I will keep my count to 3. But, because you did mention it at the end.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of corrections for this episode. It says Eddie, but I think he means Sheps here. Eddie, it's about your Destiny 2 knowledge. The Enclave is on Mars and the new edition of the Witch Queen where you now craft the weapons, but you have to access it through the Witch Queen content. So I am actually going to take the L on this one. What I said was that you couldn't access this thing on Mars on the Enclave.
Right.
I hadn't got to that part of the story yet. And when I clicked that part of the story, then it would take me to that location on Mars and I would get
And you
there.
didn't update the podcast and let us all know.
I'll take the L on that one. I'm sorry for besmirching Bungie's good name.
That's right.
And there is a story reason why you can't get to the older planets like Mars or Titan. The darkness and the pyramids show up and have covered those planets in darkness, and we can't get to them anymore. Convenient. Witch Queen has has been the first time we can reach Mars since. Sheps, now to correct your Dune knowledge. Here we go.
Oh, God.
In the house of Atreides,
Aristides, I think it is.
Aristides.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that you got the planet right. It's called Arrakis.
Yeah.
Arrakis. But the name of the people you're looking for are Freeman.
Oh, the Freeman, yeah, the Fremen, yeah.
Maybe that's what he was thinking of, Brian Ford.
Yeah,
Maybe that's what it
Fremen.
was. Also, Sheps, you're being racist against Eddie, calling the Freeman the Dune Eddie's people, when a Dune is based off of Arabic, not Turkish. You racist mother.
I was trying to think. There's a.
He was trying to
They're
be racist.
really
Go ahead.
famous.
Yeah, go on.
Who is it that, like, I saw it was like T.S. Eliot or someone from like World War One went out, and went out with this tribe of people that live like in the deserts. They're nomads. With what are the horses with humps on their backs called? Camels.
Camels.
Oh my days. And they're really famous, especially for being like good fighters and navigating around the deserts.
Vladimir the Impaler.
I'm gonna Google it.
This is probably who you were thinking of for Brian Ford, just so you know.
Nomad people, nomad desert people. Come on, man. They live in the Sahara. What's their name? The Bedouin, yeah.
Okay, maybe that.
But basically that's what I was getting at. The Fremen are sort of like natives. They live there, and they like know the secrets of the.
And all about that spice.
Yeah. And those things that got the nose, that's for hydration and water and stuff. Because there's and spice. Always got to salt your food, innit? Anyway, thanks for the corrections. Yeah, it's been ages.
Next for you, Eddie. You called Tony Stark's best friend Rooney, not Rhodey. Fake Marvel fan right here. Well, I've never claimed to be a Marvel fan. That's something.
I was going to say something that was 100% going to get us cancelled. Please continue.
Also for Eddie, Gamescom is not the first time Sonic Frontiers was shown. They revealed it earlier this year. And lastly,
It's just that forgettable, isn't it?
It's just that forgettable. Lastly, Sheps, I made a correction last week, but didn't get to hear it. So I'm putting it in again. Stop calling it DS5. It's the first of its
I
kind,
feel
something
like
that.
this is a correcting you guys. Back when the DualSense was announced, like when we covered the leaks for it, I said, I'm not calling it that. I'm calling it the DS5. Your Conbrosations law is lacking. Get fricked.
James and Earl Jones.
I love it.
And also Earl Jones, sorry. He goes, correcting conversations. Eddie called Iron Man's broski without legs Ruddy. When in fact it's Rhodey. Not that I care.
love that.
But has to do the correcting conversations. I'm glad you're on this, James, and also Earl Jones.
Appreciate it.
Correcting conversations. You forgot about correcting conversations. And yeah, that's all. All right. All right, guys. Thank you all for tuning in for another episode of the True Game Podcast. I hope you all enjoyed it. Yeah, we'll see you guys in the next episode next week. Let us know what you guys think about the episode. Leave your comments down below. See you guys in the Discords over. Also on the Twitch streams, twitch.tv/Conbrosations for The Last of Us. And catch you guys all in the next one. All right, boys. See you later.
Later, boys. Well, what's that supposed to be?
I don't know. I'm weird, man.
We know.
We know.